the go? Take us with you. Download, listen, and learn through the iHeartRadio app. Now back to Shane Hewitt and the Night Shift.
Cool Canadians. One of the coolest in my books.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hello, good morning. It is 6 o'clock on Thursday, July. It's not June anymore. It's July the 2nd.
I can't keep up.
That happened. And it is Thursday. It's not Monday.
It's not Monday.
It's a lot of things to keep track of.
Want to say Monday.
It's cloudy, though, and we are expecting maybe some showers at some point today. Not yet, though. Full forecast to come. I'll let you know. But right now, let's do this. Well, let's get to the news, and here is Lisa Best.
All these cooler temperatures is making it great for wildfire crews. They're resting for the moment. The BC Wildfire Service says there's only one wildfire burning out of control in this province. It's the so-called Riley Creek Fire burning south of Lillooet, about 50 hectares in size. The service said it is one of about 17 active fires burning in the province. The latest situational report says the cool, wet weather is helping to decrease the risk of new fire starts in most regions across the province, including here on Vancouver Island. Victoria Police continue to search for witnesses or dash cam footage to a collision involving a pedestrian earlier this week. The hit and run happened around 1 a.m. Tuesday at Cook and Caledonia, adjacent to the ballpark. The pedestrian is said to be in serious condition, so if you know anything or saw anything, police would like to hear from you. Next door in Alberta, the Premier there expected to give details about her government's proposed oil pipeline project to the West Coast.
Danielle Smith's announcement comes after she inked a deal last fall with Prime Minister Mark Carney. Their memorandum of understanding pledging to pave the way for a bitumen pipeline to the West Coast. It is tied to progress on a major carbon capture network by the province's biggest oil producers. Smith's announcement also comes as her province prepares to hold a referendum this fall on separating from Canada. She has said the deal with Ottawa shows Canada can work, but those pushing for the province to quit Confederation say the deal cannot fix long-standing grievances. Aaron Sousa, The Canadian Press.
Those packages you order may cost more coming up in the future. Maritime shipping costs are soaring to 4-year highs thanks to the fallout from tariff uncertainty and the continued war with Iran in the U.S., with potential repercussions for you, the consumer.
Industry specialists say retailers and wholesalers are rushing to book shipments to get ahead of a potential fresh round of U.S. tariffs on dozens of countries expected near the end of July. Shipping platform Freightos says that surge in demand is pushing transport prices up. High fuel prices and reduced availability of vessels and crew because of the Strait of Hormuz closure also play a role in the rising costs. The Platts Container Index shows global shipping rates for containers jumped about 80% over the past month to their highest level since April 2022. Michelle Zedekian, The Canadian Press.
No shocker here. As expected yesterday, U.S. officials opt to not extend CUSMA. As it stands, CTV's Rachel Ello has more on what the move means and how officials are reacting.
The U.S. refusal means all three countries will have to review the deal annually. Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc downplayed the decision, noting it remains fully in force until 2036 and can be renewed at any time for another 16-year period. While the deal continues for now, so do the punishing sectoral tariffs.
Together, We can give ourselves far more than anyone can take away.
No official talks between Ottawa and Washington are on the books yet.
Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Donald Trump's latest financial disclosure report shows that he raked in about $1.2 billion last year from various crypto holdings, overshadowing a real estate business that brought him to fame and helped propel him to the U.S.'s top office. Whereas it took decades for Trump to amass various properties, the rise of crypto in his portfolio was done in just over a year. Running over 900 pages, the mandatory annual report shows Trump struck several other new veins of wealth last year, raising questions about how he's profiting from his high office. Ever the salesman, Trump even made money off the smallest of things, pulling in millions by slapping his name on Bibles, guitars, and watches, the latter alone bringing in $4.7 million. And he's not a household name. Do you know the name Victor Willis? How about the song?
Young man, there's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough.
He co-founded The Village People and co-wrote some of the biggest hits, including YMCA. Remember Macho Man 2? Well, Victor's died at the age of 74. The group announced his death on Facebook, citing a short but aggressive illness. Willis performed as the police officer, helping form the Village People in 1977, the group's debut album, released later that year, followed with hits like this. The song, of course, became a phenomenon for all of us and was added to the U.S. National Recording Registry in 2020. And that is your news to 6:05. Our CFAX 1070 news poll question, we're asking, have you curbed your dining out, your entertainment and sporting events to save money? 46% say yes, they've done a lot of curbing to save cash. 32% have budgeted a little, and 22% haven't cut back at all. You can vote at CFAX1070.com, also the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 6:07.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning. Welcome to Thursday. It is 12 degrees right now. We are expecting a few showers a little later today. Full details to come. But right now, over to the sports, and let's kick things off with our World Cup of Soccer report as we continue to follow the football.
This is your TSN Radio FIFA World Cup 2026 update.
I'm John Rodenberg. Harry Kane rescued England from a round of 32 exit at the hands of DR Congo.
Harry Kane. It's Kane! Oh, wow! Oh, wow!
Kane scored twice in the final 15 minutes of the match to give England a 2-1 win and a spot in the round of 16 in Mexico versus Mexico on Sunday. Belgium scored 2 late goals to tie and then added the winning goal on a penalty kick in extra time to defeat Senegal 3-2. The Belgians will play the United States on Monday. The Americans overcame a red card to striker Folarin Balogun and blanked Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0. Balogun is suspended for the next match. Today, Spain meets Austria. The final game at Toronto Stadium is the highly anticipated Portugal-Croatia matchup at 7 Eastern. And then 11 Eastern tonight in Vancouver, Switzerland faces Algeria. Saturday, Canada plays its next biggest game ever versus Morocco. You can watch the FIFA World Cup matches on TSN, CTV, Crave, and streaming at tsn.ca. Listen on the TSN Radio Network with all game streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
Well, there you go. Quick look at some other sports going on. The Victoria Harbour Cats evened their series with the Nanaimo Night Owls with an 11-2 win last night. Nanaimo won the opener on Tuesday evening, so now we got a 1-1 split. We'll figure out who wins the series tonight as they play one last game at Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium, and that's before the Victoria Harbour Cats hit the road for a weekend series in Kelowna. And since we're talking baseball, Toronto Blue Jays have the day off today after a resounding 9-3 win over the New York Mets yesterday. So Toronto wins the series against the Mets, their first series victory since mid-June. The Blue Jays travel to Seattle tomorrow for a 3-game set against the Mariners. It's one of those ones where a lot of the Blue Jays fans from here take a trip over to Seattle and check out the game. We'll see if we see that play out. And that is your CFAX 1070 Sports 2609. It's 10 minutes after 6 here on Thursday. By the way, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. First of the season, wild Pacific sockeye salmon has arrived, fresh from the ocean, never frozen, and delivered daily. Eat happy at Thrifty Foods. Let's talk about traffic and weather. Well, one thing to note in the world of traffic is that they have a Bay Street Bridge full closure. The overnight work has been happening there. This one's going to last, at least on the schedule, until about 8 o'clock this morning. So they're extending it a bit because they didn't start right away. They kind of delayed the closure last night with Canada Day fireworks and all the festivities happening around town. They didn't want to tie up traffic too much, so they didn't start their overnight work until close to midnight last night, so they're going to extend it until about 8 this morning. At least that's what's on the schedule.
Very civilized.
Yeah, very nice of them. But if you're driving around this morning, just watch out for that. It's going to last a little longer than some of these overnight closures have lasted. For the rest of the conditions on the roads, very clear out there. No crashes. I've got no congestion.
No nothing.
No waits at BC Ferries either. 7 o'clock sailing from Swartz Bay to Swanson, looking great if you're heading over to the mainland on that boat. For the weather forecast, okay, let's get into this. So I've been mentioning that some showers are possible. So it's starting off cloudy right now. We're okay at the moment. But sometime later this morning, we could see a few showers. They don't last very long. We start to ease up pretty quick. By the time we get to later into the afternoon or into the evening, there's just a small chance of some scattered showers for the rest of it. So any precipitation we see should mostly fall kind of in the middle of the day, late morning, early afternoon. Highs to hit 15 degrees, so quite a lot cooler today. Then for tonight, still a small chance we could see a little more precipitation, lows to 13. Tomorrow, after we're done with the drizzle that could fall overnight, we start to clear up. We get to 18 degrees, and then the sun shines with us once we hit Saturday. And Sunday and into next week is looking sunny and a bit warmer, too, after we've been through this, slightly more moderate patch of weather with some clouds and cooler temperatures. On the markets, opening bells will ring later for North American stock markets. Let's see how things closed off last. I mean, we did just have Canada Day and all, so a little quiet here. But what else was going on? Here's Aaron Sousa.
It's a shorter trading week with Canada Day in the rear view. Toronto's S&P TSX saw gains on Tuesday, but was closed for the holiday yesterday. In New York, though, the Dow slipped 13 points and the Nasdaq dropped 173. In Tokyo this morning, the Nikkei fell sharply by 1,700 points. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong edged up 174. Our dollar is trading at 70 and 46 cents U.S. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is expected to unveil details of her province's proposed West Coast oil pipeline today. This after inking a deal with Prime Minister Mark Carney last fall. With growing separatist sentiment in her province, she said the deal shows Canada can work. Also today, the PM will join BC Premier David Eby to announce a so-called Cooperative Prosperity Partnership. And the U.S. says it won't be renewing CUSMA, but experts on this side of the border aren't breaking a sweat. One says he believes the president may just be trying to negotiate in public to gain leverage. From the Canadian Press Business Desk, I'm Aaron Sousa.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Good morning. Happy Thursday, Monday to everybody out there as we get into it.
It feels so weird.
Yeah, I liked the sleep yesterday.
Wasn't that great?
But
because it was unexpected.
It was lovely having midweek sleep.
I wake up, now I can go back to bed again.
But then I had to go to bed again last night, and I was like, oh no, it's just one day. My rhythms were so off, and now here we are. It's not Monday, it's Thursday. But there we go. It's worth it. It was cool having Canada Day yesterday. You got a chance to go and check out some of the festivities, didn't you, Lisa?
It was pretty busy downtown. Lots of languages, lots of activity. And I noticed that the fireworks went off right on schedule. At 10:20, bang, bang, bang.
There they were.
It was big. I heard it from a distance. Didn't see it.
Yeah, you weren't there.
No, I was not there.
Because I was also in bed by that point myself. So
I'd like to say I was at a party somewhere, but that wasn't happening either. But yeah, and it was pretty long, as the mayor had said. It was going to be a big bang, and people got their money's worth.
Excellent.
So pretty cool for Canada Day downtown.
Yeah, no, it was a great day and tons of festivities happening all over. Let us know where you were at 7-10-10 if you enjoyed some of the Canada Day festivities. That is behind us now, but we still got lots coming up on the weekend and lots more FIFA World Cup of Soccer to play.
We got that game Saturday.
And our game for Canada Saturday. There's another match in Vancouver later today. And I was just reading that, do you know who John Montgomery is?
Yes.
Yeah, because John Montgomery, of course, he hosts the Amazing Race Canada. But he's also famous for being the one of Canada's gold medal Olympic winners back at the Vancouver 2010 Winter Olympics. So he's a lot of things, but he's also now going to be flipping the coin at one of the FIFA games. I was just reading.
That's perfect.
He gets to be a coin flipper at the beginning because that's where they decide who kind of starts with the ball.
He's got the clout.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask him about it because he's joining us in 5 minutes.
Oh, well, that's good, too, because we've got a new race coming up.
Yeah, we got a brand new season of the Amazing Race Canada. He's flipping the coin. We're talking to John Montgomery in just a moment. He's joining us just in a sec after the news. And let's do that news right now. It's 6:16. What's going on, Lisa?
Canada's envoy to the UN says Prime Minister Mark Carney's vision of working with countries that aren't traditional allies is starting to gel. Our UN Ambassador Dave Lametti says part of his job is coordinating with middle powers on issues that matter to Canada. That includes work on safe adoption of artificial intelligence, addressing Haiti's security crisis, and preserving international law. He says those goals can't be pursued solely through rich countries, so Canada has renewed its relation with China and India while seeking trade linkages with Europe and the Pacific Rim countries as well. The BC Wildfire Service says there's only one wildfire burning out of control in this province. That's the Riley Creek Fire burning south of Lillooet. It's about 50 hectares in size. We do have one new wildfire in proximity to Vancouver Island. It is on the island of Thetis, actually. Don't they have that island right? I can't get the BC map in front of me. Just give me a minute. The service says that Riley Creek Fire is about 17 active fires that are currently burning across BC. And they're saying if you do see fire, star 5555 and let them know even if it's just smoke, if it's anything suspicious, give them a ring, and I will get that information to you about the Southern Gulf Islands fire in just a minute. And California now has official Bruce Lee Day. A bill designating May 17th as Bruce Lee Day in the Golden State was signed into law on Tuesday. It was introduced as a tribute meant to honor the icon's impact on film, culture, and Chinese American history. The May 17th was chosen as a date because that was the day that Lee returned to San Francisco at the age of 18 after spending his childhood in Hong Kong. He is now the first Chinese American commemorated for his namesake in California. And that is your news to 6:18.
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, we're talking to John Montgomery, host of the Amazing Race Canada. They got a brand new season starting soon, and it actually starts in Whistler. So we got a lot of BC on this season. I'm excited to talk about it. So we're going to do that in just a moment after traffic and weather. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Overnight closure of the Bay Street Bridge is continuing until 8 this morning. At least that's the schedule, so watch out if you are driving around town early this morning. Bay Street Bridge will be closed until 8. Now, there's no other issue right now. No crashes. I've got no congestion so far. The morning commute is light. I think that's going to be the case all this week with Canada Day, falling right in the middle of it. Lots of people off this week, and that's playing out for the commute volume on the roads. For BC Ferries, no sailing waits. And for the weather forecast, we are now back to expecting a few showers. So clouds to start, a few showers sometime this morning, then ending pretty early into the afternoon. It's not going to be raining for too long. Highs up to 15 degrees today. Chance of drizzle overnight, lows to 13. And then tomorrow, as we start to get into the day, all of the drizzles behind us, and by the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, we're into some sunshine again. Right now, the temperature outside the studio is 12 degrees.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, I think a lot of folks, I'll always remember this moment. So I'm sitting in a pub in Campbell River. It's the year 2010. I'm with a bunch of friends, and the Olympics are on because it's the Vancouver Olympics, and we're looking up at the screen, and skeleton, the competition's going, and Canada just wins gold. And the guy who wins gold gets out of the sleds and walks down Whistler, grabs a pitcher of beer from a fan just sitting there, drinks it as he walks towards his TV interview. That, of course, was John Montgomery doing that.
My hero for doing that.
I know, everybody.
That's where Hold My Beer comes from.
Is that what it is?
Oh, I think that's where it sparked.
And there was this moment where, everybody in this bar I was in Campbell River was just, cheering and laughing and loving this moment. Now, of course, since then, we have come to know John Montgomery as much more than an Olympian. He's, of course, the host of the Amazing Race Canada, and he's on the phone with us right now. Sorry that I'm walking down memory lane here, John, but thanks for joining us.
Kidding me? The only reason why we're even having a conversation is because that pitcher of beer. It wasn't the biscuit in my back pocket, and it wasn't the tobogganing. It was the beer. And I know that.
The biscuit.
Nice. How does it feel to know, like, it was just this moment where you just walked down the road and somebody just happened to pass you a beer, and this for whatever reason it became an iconic moment, but it was just so random. Like, for that to have happened and then sent you on this trajectory, I just love that life works that way sometimes.
Got to walk through those doors when they open up. I think that's as good a suggestion as ever. And it took an English woman to make it happen. I refer to her as my beer angel because she definitely changed the trajectory of my life in that moment. But anybody, or rather an English person as well as anybody, knows pub culture. And she looked and knew what a thirsty lad looked like.
Right.
And she was helping out, making sure I didn't get dehydrated.
Your Sud Savior.
Oh, I like that one. Sud Savior. Well, that'll happen 2010 in Whistler. And you know what else is happening in Whistler? It's the new season of Amazing Race Canada, which is starting, I believe, just next week on the 7th. And you will be starting the show in Whistler, won't you?
Kicking it off where, really, I guess, if we believe that story I just told you, where it all began.
Yeah, well, talk about what's going to be happening. Actually, you know what? Start with this. Start with what the Amazing Race Canada is all about and what the season is going to bring, and then we'll kind of work Whistler into it. Just for those who don't really know, or maybe even though you've had 12 seasons, somebody's never seen this before. What's this all about?
Well, for somebody that has been living under a rock, I guess you could say, and doesn't know much about the Amazing Race Canada, what we do on our version of an international show is celebrate our collective backyard, which is 10 million square kilometers large. And we showcase couples, people with a pre-existing relationship of any sort, from fathers and sons to mothers and daughters and anything in between. We take these people and we pit them against one another in a competition series that has them traveling across Canada, interacting with their brothers and sisters from the communities that they call home, showcasing our collective backyard, and watching what's possible when we work together and live life outside of our comfort zone. That's what you'll be treated to in a rapid-fire type of energy-inducing atmosphere and package. And that's what people will be treated to if they decide to spend some time with us on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I love about the show is it's kind of part, competition show, but it's also part travel show. It's part showing off the country, and I love that mix of things.
It is. It's equal parts awesomeness in basically a smash-up of all of some of our favorite things, competition shows, reality series, and the drama of personal interactions, and, of course, what we've all come to love, which are challenge shows and series and travel. So all of these things together in one shiny package, and they're Canadians. So we get to see our own country. And I think a lot of people really like that. We have gone international, and the only thing that I've ever heard, we're Canadians, and so we don't always go up to people and tell them exactly how we feel about life. But the only thing that I've ever heard, and it usually comes from little old ladies who really don't care anymore what you think, that they really love our show, but they just wish we would stay home and do more places in Canada, which, come on, we can give you that. So they don't really care about anywhere else in the world, but they know Mildred from Sudbury. They know the Big Nickel. They know the Goose in Wawa or the Looney in Churchbridge, Saskatchewan. All these places are familiar to them, and if they're not from something they've done, they are inspired to go there and maybe see it for themselves.
All right, so the show established. Let's talk about what's new this season, and maybe start with Whistler. What are you going to be doing in Whistler as you kick things off?
Certainly being treated to some eye candy on top of the world. It was an amazing day, bluebird skies with 360 vistas of nothing but mountain peaks in the mountain ranges that surround Whistler. We have some newness in gameplay. There are going to be 10. That's right, mark it, 10 express passes given away on the very first leg of the race. And that changes the whole dynamic of how racers interact. Typically in the past, we've given away one for a team to use and a couple to give away. But this year, every single team gets an express pass, and that is a game changer for competition. It makes it more frantic. It makes it more dire to actually get this challenge right, because somebody could play their express pass, come up behind you, skate past, and, well, you're left to the fishes.
It's going to be coming up on this season of The Amazing Race Canada. It airs Tuesdays at 9 p.m. And this Tuesday coming up, so the 7th, is the first episode on CTV. You can stream it the next day on Crave. So you got all those options to watch it. But you know what else is happening next Tuesday? Not only is it the first episode of this new season, you're going to be flipping a coin for one of the FIFA World Cup games, aren't you?
How I make all my decisions in life. Yeah, I am.
So that's one of the Vancouver games, right?
It is. It's the round of 16 in Vancouver, BC Place, next Tuesday, July 7th. We're going to have, obviously, 2 teams vying to go to the round of 8, which is a big deal. Canada's in that round, not in Vancouver, obviously. But yours truly is going to be flipping a coin to see who gets to go first or who gets to punt. I don't think they punt in soccer, but at any rate. It's going to be awesome. We were treated to an experience in 2010 in South Africa while we were in Africa, in Uganda, with the right to play. And I will never forget what soccer energy feels like in a stadium of desperately wanting fans for their national team and their favorite sport. And if you get the chance to watch it, to be in Vancouver, to go around downtown, I promise you the energy is going to be palpable and worth checking out.
John Montgomery, he's the host of The Amazing Race Canada. It starts with the new season on Tuesday coming up. The same day he's going to be flipping the coin at one of the FIFA World Cup games in Vancouver, so watch for that too. Hey, it's great to chat with you. Love reaching out and connecting, and we'll do it again soon. Good luck with the season.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
All right.
Enjoy the summer.
Yeah, you too. Okay, there we go. I'll always remember that beer walk, though. I don't know. I hope he didn't mind me bringing it up. He didn't sound like he minded. I don't think he minded.
I think it's a bit of a claim to fame. You know, something's always got to start you.
Yeah.
And that's pretty epic.
I just wonder if you've got that one thing that everybody always talks to you about. I wonder if it ever gets old. I guess it didn't sound like it to him.
The woman. It sounds like he goes over to the pubs in England and drinks with her. I don't know. Like, it's just kind of crazy. But it's epic. It's like, you know, all you wanted was a Canada goose or a bear to walk out of the woods at the same
just
time.
Just to complete the whole effect.
The whole Canadian effect.
Yeah. Hey, what's that beaver doing crossing the road?
Exactly.
All right. We'll take a break. 6:30 News next.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
Downtown Victoria is alive with free soccer-themed events, live match screenings, and more. Details at downtownvictoria.ca. Celebrate summer at the 59th Annual Saanich Strawberry Festival, Sunday, July 5th, 11 to 4 p.m. at Beaver Beach at Beaver Lake Regional Park.
Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 6:32 on Thursday, July the 2nd. Here we are in July, and we got a little rain, just a little bit coming at us. It shouldn't last too long today, but I'll get you the full forecast in just a moment. Right now, to the news, here's Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan, and good morning. Yes, our weather's actually behaving itself. We had mild temperatures for Canada today, but out east and into the U.S., it's a different story. The heat wave that's bearing down on Ontario this week has no signs of letting up, and it's spreading further east.
Environment Canada has scores of heat warnings posted again for most of Ontario and Quebec, and now stretching across to New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island. Daytime temps in Ontario, from Windsor to Ottawa and Thunder Bay through Timmins and southern James Bay, are clocking in the mid-30s, with the humidex making it feel even hotter. Similar heat warnings across much of Quebec are forecasting highs around 33 degrees and humidex values near 45. Meanwhile, power utility crews have been working hard to get tens of thousands of people back online after pockets of customers across southern Ontario and southern Quebec lost electricity in severe thunderstorms last night. Karen Rebo, The Canadian Press.
This is a large chunk of the eastern U.S. also remains under that heat advisory. Temperatures even hotter. The mayor of New York is asking people to set their air conditioners at 78 Fahrenheit, no lower. Americans under the alert are dealing with triple-digit temperatures, that'd be Fahrenheit. Event organizers scrambling to cope with the summer swell as well. And Rihanna Alley is in Rock Beach in New York with the latest.
Millions facing what could be one of the hottest July 4ths on record.
I got in the car. It felt like I almost burned myself. It was bad.
FIFA fans out in force at FanFests and games along the East Coast from New Jersey to Atlanta.
It's very exciting. I like everything, so it's very, very exciting, but it's very, very hot.
Event organizers patrolling the grounds in the event someone needs help.
Well, something else that's a hot potato. Canada's ambassador to the UN says Prime Minister Mark Carney's vision of working with other countries are traditional allies taking shape with the UN.
David Lametti says part of his job is coordinating with middle powers on issues that matter to Canada. That includes work on safe adoption of artificial intelligence, addressing Haiti's security crisis, and preserving international law. The former Canadian Justice Minister says those goals can't be pursued solely through rich countries. So Canada has renewed its relations with China and India while seeking trade linkages with Europe and Pacific Rim countries. Prime Minister Mark Carney attracted global attention this January with a speech to the World Economic Forum in Davos, urging middle powers to band together to advance their interests and avoid being subjected by superpowers. Naira Ahmed, The Canadian Press.
Actor and activist Danny Glover tells us he has Alzheimer's disease. The Lethal Weapon star who turns 80 on July 22nd says he was diagnosed 3 years ago. He told Today in People magazine that he's still coming to terms with the disease. Alzheimer's affects more than 700,000 people here in Canada and, of course, millions more worldwide. Glover earned 4 Emmy nominations in his career and an honorary Oscar in 2022. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce hosting their wedding in New York's Madison Square Garden tomorrow night, we believe, even though there's rumors swirling that they're already married. Anonymous law enforcement official briefed on the security plans. Officials say the festivities will kick off with a smaller rehearsal dinner planned for tonight. Smaller could mean 200 people. We don't really know. Speculation about the superstar singer and the football's players' nuptials have been a bit of a frenzy in the recent days. Unconfirmed reports said it would take place over the July 4th weekend. One of New York's iconic landmarks, that would be Madison Square Garden, but nothing has been publicly confirmed by the couple despite multiple requests for comment. But apparently MSG has been secured for 1,000 people. So that is going to be quite the wedding if it actually does happen there. That's your news to 6:36. Here's CFAX 1070 news poll question. Have you curbed dining out, entertainment, and sporting events to save on your budget? 46% have cut back a lot, 32% a little, and 22% not at all. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com. Also on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Bastian, News Time 637.
Thank you, Lisa. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home, no matter the season. Big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. They're designed for comfort. The South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. We're looking at some showers coming at us a little later this morning. Weather details to come. Right now we're sitting at 12 degrees as we get into this Thursday. And the CFAX 1070 sports, we'll do some local soccer first. Local baseball. Then we'll talk about the FIFA World Cup of Soccer. The Victoria Harper Cats evened their series with an 11-2 win over island rivals, the Nanaimo Night Owls, last night. Nanaimo had won the opener on Tuesday. They'll do a third game of the series tonight. The Cats and the Owls finishing things off at Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium. Then the Harper Cats will hit the road for a weekend series in Kelowna. Toronto Blue Jays had a win yesterday. They managed to take the series win against the Mets, and they had a 9-3 win yesterday over the New York Mets. And then the Jays are traveling today. They'll be in Seattle tomorrow for a game against the Mariners. News from the WHL. Just getting some sense about the next hockey season. They've announced the schedule and some changes to how the schedule works. So among the changes, the regular season will stay the same number of games, but is going to extend by a week. So they'll take an extra week to play it out. They're calling it a decompressed schedule that will create additional rest and recovery days for players, the opportunity for more strength and conditioning, and also just more time for, school. They're kids, by the way. Anyways, the first round of the WHL playoffs will be contested as a best-of-5 series. There's another change. I think it's just the first round of the playoffs, but the first one will be a best-of-5 instead of a best-of-7. That shorter playoff will help accommodate the longer regular season. Also, this is another change. Clubs will be permitted to travel via air for one set of road games. They weren't allowed to do this before. Now they'll get a chance to fly to one of the destinations. And for the Victoria Royals, heading to the prairies once a year for their road swing, or once every 2 years or whatever it was, they'll now have a chance, if they can, take a plane for part of that journey. Victoria Royals will open their regular season September 19th in Kamloops against the Blazers. We've also learned their home opener will be September 26th against the Vancouver Giants at the Save-On-Foods Memorial Center. Okay, now to the World Cup real quick. It continues today with 3 round of 32 matchups. First off, we got Spain playing Austria. Portugal takes on Croatia, which will be in Toronto. So that's, I think, the last of the Toronto games. And then finally, Switzerland meets Algeria in Vancouver at BC Place Stadium. On the Toronto match, quick thing to note there, Toronto is, of course, under this heat advisory. As Lisa was mentioning in the news just a moment ago, there's also a thunderstorm forecast for kickoff of the Portugal-Croatia match. So the weather in the eastern part of the continent definitely going to be a feature for some of these games to watch for. That is your CFAX Sports to 640. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Well, in traffic, it is a little slow as you come down the Trans-Canada Highway and you just get past the Millstream overpass area, just before you hit Thetis. I don't know what's causing it, if it's just construction. Maybe the construction-related work that continues around there is slowing things up. But if you see any reason why, traffic seems a little extra backed up for this time of the day and for this easy kind of commuting week where everybody's off. Let me know. Trans-Canada Highway, something up? Text me at 71010. Overnight closure of the Bay Street Bridge continuing until 8 this morning. So watch out for that. And for the weather forecast, we do have a bit of rain on the way. So we've got a few showers for this morning, ending this afternoon in the forecast for Victoria with a high hitting 15 degrees. We're expecting that rain to turn to just some possible drizzle overnight. And then we will clear up into the day tomorrow. Maybe a bit overcast tomorrow, but at least the rain will start to ease off. The real sunshine is going to hit us on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, looking nice and sunny with the temperatures starting to warm up into the 20s again and into the maybe even the mid-20s by the end of the weekend. Right now, though, we're sitting at 12 degrees. And like I said, the high today, only about 15, so going to be a little cooler today.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Looking at one of those weather radars. You can watch the rain coming in.
Watch the clouds go by.
Watch the clouds go by.
From
Watch
above?
and it looks like it hasn't hit here if you're in Victoria, but if you're up island, areas like Port Alberni and Courtenay and getting towards those areas, Tofino, those places. So you're getting the rain already. At least you've been seeing some of it. And it's sort of heading down towards the rest of us. So by later this morning, it looks like that rain will arrive, or maybe by afternoon, somewhere in that window.
Okay.
But up island, yeah, you're wet already.
And you probably know it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you already know this. You don't need me to tell you. But this is an interesting time for it because we keep talking about the wildfires. And actually, I don't mind the fact that we're just kind of cooling off a little bit and maybe wetting things down a little bit.
Well, you never know what kind of season we're going to go into. And the season used to start on April 2nd, but now we've got it pretty much all year round. And I keep looking at the dashboard for
the fires.
The fires, and I keep blinking because I'm thinking I'm reading it wrong when it says 18. And we do have one small fire on Thetis Island.
Right.
Got confused there with Thetis Lake, but it feels like Monday morning to me, too. So that's very small. It's being held, so they've got it under control. There's a combo here. I think the fire crews are jumping on it, and we have Mother Nature on our side this time around.
Yeah.
It's not drying out as quickly as we normally do. We did have a bit of a January.
Yep, and now we got a little bit of a July-uary.
Well, yeah, exactly.
No.
Well, it's cooler.
I don't think that's a thing.
But it's cooler, and so it's not drying out as quickly. And with that, fingers crossed, perhaps locally at least, we'll have that kind of season. There are some major fires burning stateside, and of course, we've got heat waves everywhere. France, Spain, throughout the U.S. I think it's 43 this week in Vegas. It's crazy temperatures.
Yeah.
And Ontario, too. I had friends that went to the Jays game.
Yeah.
And they were sweating through the whole game. It was so humid.
And that's just the folks sitting watching.
Yeah. And not because of the score. So, it's kind of wacky weather. We're sitting pretty for the moment, if I can use that term. I don't want us to rest on any laurels. I want to make sure that, we do the right thing as humans. Yeah, because a lot of these fires are human caused, but so far, so good. And, every year it's a little different. Every year we go into it not really knowing what we're going to expect. So, yeah, whatever we're doing, if we're part of it, keep doing that.
I'm going to embrace a little bit of rain that might be coming at us today in Victoria. That's the short story there. Hey, let's hear more stories because it's 6:45. And that means time for the news headlines. Here's Lisa.
Thank you. Prime Minister Mark Carney is scheduled to be in Vancouver today. He'll be meeting with BC Premier David Eby with the press conference scheduled for the 10 o'clock hour to discuss major projects in this province. Carney's itinerary says today's announcement with Eby involves a new cooperative prosperity partnership. We'll unpack that later. Alberta's Premier Danielle Smith is also expected to announce today the next steps in her province's plan to push a new oil pipeline through the Pacific Coast, something that has bristled BC. David Eby has pointed out that the proposed pipeline lacks a firm route or a private sector proponent and has said Ottawa should put more emphasis on energy and infrastructure projects in BC that has private backing. On Tuesday, Carney released a video saying that national carbon emissions will go up under his government's climate and energy plan. Carney added in the video that the goals set by the former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau were well-intentioned but not sustainable in the long term. Russia launched a large-scale attack on Ukraine's capital overnight, killing 17 people, injuring nearly 100. Loud explosions shook Kyiv for hours this morning. The attack with ballistic and cruise missiles and drones damaged buildings and civilian infrastructure across the capital city. And Donald Trump's latest disclosure agreement shows the U.S. president's personal wealth ballooned by more than $2 billion over the past year. The stunning disclosure this week, 900 pages long. For some context, Vice President J.D. Vance's disclosure, only 17 pages long. The former U.S. President Joe Biden's disclosure that covered the whole year before he left office was only 11 pages. That's your news to 647.
So we keep hearing that we are moments away from a submarine decision in Canada. At least, any day now is maybe a way to
Hold your
put
breath,
that.
exhale.
Is it going to be the South Korean bid? Is it going to be the German bid? Who is going to build this giant fleet of submarines for us? I say giant, but for Canada, we have one functional out of 4 submarines right now. So we're going to.
We need something parked at Esquimalt.
Yeah, we'll have up to 12, I think, is what we're hoping to procure. Waiting on that decision. Somebody who's following this even closer than he used to now is local member of Parliament, Jeff Kibble with the Conservatives. He has now been named the federal Conservative shadow cabinet member, shadow minister for national defense and the procurement file specifically. So let's talk about his new gig, but also talk about what he has to say about this looming choice of which submarine do we buy. Jeff Kibble's joining us next.
An iHeartRadio experience. You and a pal with weekend gold tickets to Lasso Montreal. Thomas Red. Mumford & Sons. John Party, Old Dominion, Carly Pierce, and more. And the prize gets even sweeter with flights from Porter Airlines. 3 nights at Residence Inn downtown Montreal and $1,000 cash. Download the free iHeartRadio app. Listen to this station for 10 minutes and enter to win. Lasso Montreal. Every day you listen is another chance to win.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods, where first to the season wild Pacific sockeye salmon has arrived, fresh from the ocean, never frozen, and delivered daily. Eat happy at Thrifty Foods. On the roads, so I haven't heard anything, but it looked like there was a little slowdown that seemed unusual on the Trans-Canada Highway just as you pass Millstream. Things are a little bit jammed up there heading in towards town. I don't know if there's a thing going on or maybe this is construction related. All I see is that it's a little extra slow there. If you happen to be going by, again, that's heading down the Trans-Canada Highway towards Victoria, just past Millstream. Let me know if there's anything going on. Otherwise, it's a pretty smooth commute. We've got a full closure of the Bay Street Bridge. This overnight road work is continuing until 8 this morning. Look out for that. And for the ferries, no sailing waits. 7 o'clock sailing from Swartz Bay to Swanson is A-OK. Lots of room left. The weather, it's looking a little wet, so the rain is sort of moving our way. It's up island right now. It's sort of heading towards the Greater Victoria area. So maybe later this morning, we'll start to see a few showers. That's a possibility for Victoria today. It doesn't last too long. It should be out of its system by later into the day or maybe by tomorrow. Could still see a small chance of drizzle overnight tonight. It's starting to ease up tomorrow, and we get back into some sunshine and some warmer temperatures come Saturday, Sunday. Today, though, only a high of 15 in this sort of slightly overcast, maybe wet day. Right now, it's 12.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Joining us on the program right now, I have Jeff Kibble. He's, of course, the Member of Parliament with the Conservatives for Cowichan, Malahat, Langford. He's got a new gig, though. He's the Shadow Minister for Defence Procurement. So let's get him on the line. Jeff Kibble, how you doing?
Morning, Ryan. Great to talk with you again. I hope all is well.
Congrats on the new position. So I guess a bit of a shuffle for the Conservative Opposition Shadow Cabinet and a new role for you. That's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And yeah, a little bit of a change, and I think it's redefining our focus on affordability across the cabinet, and to which we've identified as really as the key issue among all Canadians is affording the basics of life. People are now really struggling.
Now, on your new role for national defense procurement, so it's not overall national defense. Are you just zeroing in on the procurement part of it? Is that the task ahead of you?
Yeah, it's a large portion of the national defense role. So James Bazan will continue on as the Shadow Minister of National Defense, and I've worked very closely with him on Defense Committee, and so I am now going to be joining the cabinet as the Shadow Minister for Defense Procurement, and it focuses on a wide range of topics.
And you've got some personal background that fits in with this quite well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was in the Royal Canadian Navy, where I had an amazing career for 28 years, served across the country, and was involved with procurement there as well. And so it ties directly in, and I have lots of connections and contacts across Canada through defense contractors and various people still in and that have served in the military, and I've fostered that very much while on Defense Committee, and now I'll have an opportunity to improve our rather slow and very expensive procurement system.
All right, yeah, perfect job for you. I mean, you got the exact background for this, so really interesting to talk to you about some of these files. And let's do the submarines. Can we talk submarines?
Absolutely.
Okay, so of course we're waiting any moment now. Apparently the government will announce which bid is going to win the right to build Canada's fleet of new submarines. We got the German bid, the South Korean bid. We've been kind of talking about it a few times on the show today, but the differences, the subtle differences between these submarines and their capabilities. We have two countries in South Korea and Germany that are trying to help sweeten the pot with different, like, hey, we'll build this for you, or we'll make this in Canada if you pick us. And we've got a lot of things to consider here, and the Canadian government is trying to decide which one to do. And we hear any time now it's coming down. Talk from your perspective about this bid and what you're expecting to see once we get this announcement.
Yeah, well, I'm expecting, this is a better way to put it, I'm really hoping that the decision is made based on what it is that Canada best needs and what best suits the military. And once the decision is made, I'll be looking to see some of the deciding factors that were used to score the two the two separate projects. They both have their pros and cons, and bring different values to the table. But I hope that they are choosing what the military has best identified what it needs. And I will also add, right now the government has no strategy. The government has a plan of what they'd like to do, but they've never really defined in a document like a white paper for years a strategy. So we're buying all this equipment, and submarines are an amazing capability, but the government has not sat down and decided what's our strategy, what are the most likely threats that we're going to deal with in the future, and then procuring for that. So they're going here and buying these type of missile systems or these submarines or this type of aircraft, all kind of in the blind. So part of my role now as the Shadow Minister of Defence Procurement will be to focus in on making sure that there's a proper strategy to define what we buy. As far as the submarines, both have their pros and cons. I have my preference, but really that decision should be made by what's best for the Navy.
Right, and I don't know if you want to share your preference, but I guess what you're saying is like that's not necessarily for you to decide, but the process, I guess, is the thing you'll be watching closely.
Absolutely. And you know, I do have my personal preference, but it's going to really be up to what is the strategy of Canada to keep us self-reliant and sovereign, and then what are those needs that the military wants, and that should solely be what the decision is made. And I hope that that is done, and we'll be digging into that to make sure that that is what's happened with that process and going forward with other significant processes.
Now, procurement in Canada is famous for being slow and fraught with delay and cost overruns and all of these things. I mean, the Carney government is here trying to move pretty quickly on this stuff. It sounds like, you know, given, you know, some perspective on, you know, these, comparatively speaking, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Do you have any hope that this will go faster and better than, you know, Canada sometimes does?
The Carney government has signaled that they want to speed up procurement. They've stood up this new level of bureaucracy called the Defense Investment Agency, which they claim is going to speed things up. And let's not fool ourselves. This submarine project has been ongoing for years and years and years and years. So things haven't actually sped up. Okay. What they say in the government is much an illusion. And, you know, time will tell. But right now we're seeing, for example, in the Defense Investment Agency, as they're slowly starting to stand up, they're using their own rules. Some might be good to speed things up, but others we're very concerned, are going to be eliminating some of the key checks and balances. And the procurement was done by PSPC Canada, and some of those personnel that were there as government employees are being all transferred over to the Defense Investment Agency. So there's not more people doing jobs. They're just reshuffling and giving an outside organization control over, being led by a banker friend of Carney, is a banker that's running the Defense Investment Agency for contracts over $100 million. Look, it's all more bureaucracy with the same people that were making the decisions before. We want to see two things. One, procurement spread up, and two, what the equipment the military actually needs based on the threats and the strategy, and we're not seeing that. So don't listen to the illusions of what the press releases are telling us. I'm always happy to come on the radio and break it down for you.
Actually, I'd love to follow up and chat more about, you know, what kind of vision you would have for, you know, what kind of stuff does this military need? What does Canada need? You know, what kind of vision should we be building towards? But we'll have to leave it for another time, though, because we're out of time. But Jeff Kibble, congrats again on the new post. You are the new shadow cabinet minister with the Conservatives following national defense procurement. And while the submarine file is a big one we've been watching here, so great to get you to weigh in. Thanks so much.
Anytime, Ryan. Thank you very much. Reach out, and I'd love to chat as this. And also, importantly, you know, the affordability crisis here on Vancouver Island for people is also, and working here on the island is also a significant part of what I do. Happy Canada Day to everybody. I had a great day yesterday getting out across the island, connecting with people. You take care.
Yeah, happy post-Canada Day to you, too. Okay, we'll take a break. We got the 7 o'clock news coming up next.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is Thursday, July 2nd. Overcast to start the day with a few sunny breaks potentially, but also some rain potentially coming at us a little later this morning. Full forecast to come. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
It wasn't a shock to any of us. The U.S. says it will not renew the U.S.-Canada-Mexico agreement on trade in its current form.
U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer says the United States will continue talks with Canada and Mexico to address what he calls the agreement's shortcomings. But the Continental Trade Pact remains in effect. Washington's decision triggers a rolling annual review for up to a decade. At that point, the deal would expire if the three countries can't agree on an extension. Greer met with Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and Mexico's Economy Secretary. LeBlanc says negotiations will need to include U.S. tariffs on Canadian steel, aluminum, autos, and lumber. Jason White, The Canadian Press.
Stay with CFAX at 8:20 this morning. Royal Roads University Communications and Culture Professor David Black will be on to talk about this latest rejection of the renewal, what it means for Canada. U.S. Customs and Border Protection officials told a hearing on Capitol Hill this week that there's been a significant drop in drug seizures at the border with Canada.
Acting Deputy Chief Jason Schneider also told the House Border Security and Enforcement Subcommittee that there's been a decline in the number of apprehensions of undocumented immigrants. The testimony came as Republican lawmakers made claims that Mexican cartels are looking to Canada as the United States cracks down on smuggling at its southern border. Members of the Trump administration have made similar allegations, despite U.S. government data showing a minuscule volume of fentanyl being seized at the border with Canada compared with Mexico. RCMP have said there's not a pervasive cartel presence in Canada. Kelly Malone, The Canadian Press, Washington.
Alberta's premier expected to give details today about her government's proposed oil pipeline project to the West Coast. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Vancouver today at 10:15. He and Premier David Eby will be making an announcement on that new multi-billion-dollar agreement for job growth and prosperity as BC looks to get a deal out of this situation of Alberta piping across the province. Officials monitoring a glacial lake that burst, sending floodwaters towards the community northeast of Pemberton, say water flows are increasingly expected and are expected to peak this morning. The melting glacier has triggered an evacuation order for about 24 homes in the Gate Lakes and Pool Creek area in the community of Birken, about 150 kilometers north of Vancouver. The Squamish-Lillooet Regional District says the Place Glacier Lake outflow is increasing and people are asked to avoid the area. This is the third year in a row these residents have had to deal with this, the threat of the Place Glacier, which had similar bursts of water last year and in 2024. Stateside, a Russian couple are in hot water facing criminal charges after their wild marriage proposal involved scaling the Empire State Building in New York City yesterday.
The daredevils, now identified as Angela Nikolaou and Ivan Kunetsov. Without any type of safety equipment, they climbed to the top of the spire and unfurled a banner that read, "When the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace." Then they descended to a lower platform where Kunetsov dropped to his knee and proposed.
Nothing like taking the plunge. Officials say they're still working to determine how the stunt performers gained access to the restricted area to climb the building. And that's your news to 7:06. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. Have you curbed your dining out, entertainment, and sporting events in order to save on your budget? 46% say yes, a lot, 32% a little, and 22% not at all. You can vote at cfax1070.com, also the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 7:07.
Thank you, Lisa. A quick little traffic note. I was asking for some feedback on what was going on the Trans-Canada Highway because it looked like it was jammed up a bit slow coming just past Millstream. Well, a couple of texters letting us know it looks like there have been some police cars pulling over some people in the area, and that's making people slow down.
That's a construction zone, right? 60 there?
Yeah, because
where
they're doing the
everyone's
bus.
driving 90?
Yeah, it's there, yeah.
I've noticed.
Yeah, so maybe everybody's slowing down with some police in the area pulling at least one car over, according to our texters at 71010. So that seems to be what's going on and causing the slowdown. Thank you so much at 71010 for letting us know what's going on out there. Let's get to the CFAX 1070 sports. Well, as the FIFA Men's World Cup continues today, we've got 3 more round of 32 matchups. First off, we got Spain playing Austria, Portugal taking on Croatia after that, and then the last game will be in Toronto, where Switzerland meets Algeria. I've got to correct that. It was Portugal-Croatia at Toronto. And for Vancouver at BC Place Stadium, that's Switzerland-Algeria. So we got 2 of our Canadian stadiums in action tonight. For the Toronto one, it's interesting. It's the final night. I don't think there's any more of the World Cup after this. But it's also that heat wave we've been hearing about in the news. And there's a thunderstorm forecast as well, right around the time of kickoff. So for that Portugal-Croatia match, that'll be interesting to watch to see how the weather plays into that, as well as all of these games that are taking place in the eastern part of the continent where this heat wave continues. It's not just Canada. A lot of the U.S. cities are feeling this as well. Okay, FIFA World Cup aside, let's talk about local baseball, where the Harper Cats have evened their series with the Nanaimo Night Owls. It was an 11-2 win last night on Canada Day for the Harper Cats. The night before that, which was the Canada Day fireworks night, Nanaimo won the opener, so the 2 teams have split the series. Final game today at Wilson's Group Stadium, Royal Athletic Park, before the Harper Cats then hit the road to Kelowna. Blue Jays with a win last night. They had a 9-3 victory over the New York Mets, and the Blue Jays will now travel for the 3-game set against the Seattle Mariners starting tomorrow. And some news out of the WHL. So yeah, we're talking hockey here in the summer, but we always do that because they've announced the schedule for the coming season and some changes. Amongst the changes, the new regular season is going to take longer to play. They're going to maintain the same number of games, but play them over an extra week. They call it a decompressed schedule to give a little more time for the players to rest, recover, and focus on education. They will also shorten the first round of the playoffs. It'll be a best of 5 instead of a best of 7, which will help accommodate the slightly decompressed regular season. And they're going to let some of the teams fly for the first time. It's bus only up until now, but some air travel will now be permitted in certain circumstances for travel that's long enough. Victoria Royals, we've learned out of all of this, will open up their season September 19th in Kamloops against the Blazers. And that is your sports to 710. .7:11 on Thursday morning. It's July the 2nd. Good morning. We have a bit of a slowdown on the Trans-Canada Highway with police pulling over some cars, and everybody's slowing up as you go past it heading in towards town. So that's, again, the Trans-Canada Highway by Millstream. Watch out for that. For the Bay Street Bridge, overnight closure is going to continue until 8. At least that's the schedule. If it opens early, do let me know at 7:10:10. But they had scheduled to have the Bay Street Bridge, the full closure both directions, until 8 o'clock this morning as they do some overnight work there. No waits at BC Ferries, and the weather forecast, it's going to get a little wet today, apparently. We've got showers on the way for the greater Victoria area coming later this morning. And then clearing up into the afternoon with just a chance of drizzle overnight tonight. Highs will only hit 15 degrees, so a much cooler day today. We kind of felt it a bit at times yesterday. Slightly cooling conditions were coming at us already. We're continuing that trend with this rain today. Tomorrow, it starts to clear up after that morning chance of drizzle. Highs of 18. Getting clearer and more sunny for Saturday, Sunday, with temperatures starting to creep up into the 20s again as we hit the weekend. But right now, it is a bit cooler. As mentioned, 15 is the high we expect, and it's 12 degrees for most of Victoria right now. Let's take a look at the markets. S&P TSX in Toronto. Back in action after being off for Canada Day yesterday. It's up 221 on the day so far to 35,078. The Dow in New York up 422 to 52,727. NASDAQ up 153 to 26,193. And the Canadian dollar at 70.5 cents U.S.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
We love it when you join the conversation at 71010. This texter says, "Good morning, Ryan and Lisa. I'm watching online this morning from Sherwood Park, Alberta, near Edmonton." I love it when people tune in from afar.
It's cool.
That's cool. Anyways, the text continues.
Sounds exotic.
The rain I've seen here over the last couple of weeks looks a lot like the winter rains on the island. Several homes in the neighborhood have been dealing with water in the basements, but fortunately not the one I've been visiting. The mosquitoes have come out of hibernation too. I've had a lovely visit, but I look forward to coming home to the island tomorrow. Have a super day, and then there's a bunch of rain emojis. Thanks for checking in.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point here, not just about, experiencing the beautiful parts of Alberta and it's and the rain that's falling there now, but you're breaking up the fact that you can watch this show in so many different ways. One, you can just watch it. If you're listening on the radio, maybe you don't know. We've got TV cameras in here, and you can bring us up on CTV Vancouver Island, just on the regular old TV. But you can also get us on Crave. If you got a Crave subscription, you can watch Ryan and Lisa, morning, CFAX 1070, right there on Crave TV. And you can actually watch it in your own time as well. You don't have to see it live. You can watch it at night. Maybe you want to see the morning show in the evening. You can do that. And another way to watch,
Such
Lisa.
freedom.
I love freedom. Another way you can do it is on YouTube. But we are fairly recently now streaming the program with the video on YouTube. If you find us there, just go CFAX 1070. We're right there. Do like and subscribe. We would love it if you subscribe to the channel. It's a fairly new one. When you get a new thing online, it's the numbers are low, so we would love to bump up our subscriber numbers because my 12-year-old keeps bugging me.
Yes.
He's like, Dad.
Is he throwing shade your way?
He's like, Dad, you don't have enough subscribers. You'll be looking at some kid on YouTube playing Fortnite or something, and it's like
harsh in your house.
Yeah, look at the million subscribers this kid has, Dad. How many do you have? So,
oh dear.
Just so I can look better in front of my 12-year-old.
Well, you want to look like the hero.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you could find us on YouTube and subscribe.
That'd be grand.
That would be great. It's brand new though, so we're just kind of getting it going. It's fun though if you want to watch the show live or watch some clips afterwards and catch up on some of the highlight moments from the show and all of the shows here on CFAX. Do check us out.
Got lots of options.
Lots of options. At 7:15, let's have the option of hearing the news.
Yeah, something else we want you to subscribe to is Kids Count. We're going to tell you more about that. We got a special guest coming up in just a moment.
Sure do.
Extreme heat warnings cover much of Ontario on Canada Day. The temperatures in the mid-30s, humidex values near 40. People sweltering. Windsor, Toronto, Ottawa, parts of northern Ontario. Advocates warn that the vulnerable, especially unhoused, seniors, people living alone, and those with health conditions face the greatest dangers from heat waves. We know all about that here on the coast. So far, the weather here has been behaving itself. We've had quite mild temperatures. That could change, but we'll keep you posted if that's on the way. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith expected to outline her government's proposed 1 million barrel a day oil pipeline to the West Coast. The project follows a memorandum of understanding that Smith signed with the Prime Minister last fall to advance a bitumen pipeline. The agreement is linked to progress on a major carbon capture network involving Alberta's largest oil producers. Smith says that the deal could show Canada can still work for Alberta, even as the province prepares for a separation referendum this fall. Prime Minister Mark Carney will be in Vancouver today. He'll be meeting with our BC Premier David Eby to discuss major projects. Also on the itinerary is the new Cooperative Prosperity Partnership. Basically what BC is going to get out of this deal. That happens at 10:15. They'll have a media announcement as to this new multi-billion-dollar agreement for job prosperity and growth. We'll keep you posted as to what that involves. And Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew has urged people in the Parkland region, including Dauphin and Swan River, to stay off roads as flooding causes serious infrastructure damage. It's been bad in Manitoba. Dauphin reported about 115 millimeters of rain since Sunday. That deluge leading to widespread flooding, travel warnings, and requests for residents to reduce water use. And that is your news to 7:17.
Well, have you checked it out yet? The CFAX Santa's Anonymous Kids Count Mega Summer 50/50. This is where you can buy a 50/50 ticket, just like you would at a baseball game or, a local event, where 50% of the pot at the end goes to the winner. The other 50% goes to the cause.
Which is a good one.
Whatever it happens to be. In this case, it's Kids Count, powered by CFAX Santa's Anonymous, helping kids beyond Christmas around Greater Victoria. So, you can buy a raffle ticket, but on just a huge radio station-wide scale.
And the number's going up, too.
Yeah.
Which is good to see.
You've got until late August. In fact, August 27th at 5 p.m. is the cutoff. So that's when we're cutting off sales. But lots of time to buy a ticket. But don't wait. You can buy a single ticket for $10, 5-ticket pack for $25, 20-ticket pack for $50. Check it out. You can just go to our website, cfax1070.com, and you can see a big, the big button is right there. Kids Count Mega Summer. Click on that. Find out how you can order your tickets, and we're going to talk to you about how this money is going to help out in the community. It's going to help you if you win it, but also it's going to help children around Greater Victoria all year round. And Christine Goodsir, Executive Director of CFAX Santa's Anonymous, joining us next with more on this and the ways it helps. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Bluebird Cabs. Need a cab? Download the new Bluebird Cabs app. It's at Bluebird Cabs LTD. So on your app store, whatever it is, Play Store, whatever device you use, you got to find Bluebird Cabs with the letters LTD at the end. That's the right one. They're proudly local and Canadian owned and run since 1946. Okay, so what's happening on the roads? A little bit of a slowdown. There was a police pulling over a car on the Trans-Canada Highway heading in towards Victoria, just past Millstream on the Trans-Canada Highways. Things are a bit slow there. Watch out for that. But no crash, just police on the road. for the Bay Street Bridge. Full closure until 8 this morning is the schedule. If it opens early, let me know at 7, 10, 10. But right now, the schedule is for it to remain completely closed for overnight work until 8 this morning. They're going to do another closure again tonight from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. are the hours tonight for the Bay Street Bridge closure. We are expecting a few showers. There's a little bit of sunshine trying to fight through the clouds right now in Greater Victoria, at least where I'm looking from my window. But some showers on the way for midday today. Starts to ease off. Just a chance of drizzle for the evening and overnight. Highs of 15 today. Lows of 13 overnight. And then tomorrow, once we get through the morning chance of drizzle, we're going to start drying up. Get into a high of 18 degrees for our Friday with a few clouds. Saturday and Sunday getting sunny with temperatures up to 23 degrees by Sunday. So we're going to warm up again after this kind of cool midweek period.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Yeah, the 50-50 is live. Buy a ticket. You can go to CFAX1070.com. Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50s right there, or you can go to the CFAXSantas.com website. So many options to find this. Here to talk more about it, I got Christine Goodsir, Executive Director of CFAX Santas Anonymous. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Ryan.
I think this is really exciting. It's the first time we've tried this, like a giant raffle. It's great.
It is so great. And imagine, you know what, in 56 days, 9 hours, and 36 minutes, somebody's going home with some money after the summer, and CFAX Santas will be able to keep feeding kids.
I know.
That simple.
Yeah, well, that's what this money is going towards, of course, because like a 50-50, you know, half the pot goes to the winner. You know, we'll draw the ticket at the end of all this, which, by the way, will happen the morning of August 28th. That's when the big draw is going to happen. So one of these tickets will get drawn, and we will announce somebody who will get half the money. But then the other half of the money, like you said, is going to go towards helping kids beyond Christmas through Kids Count in Greater Victoria. And talk about where this money is going, because it's going to a certain place.
It is. It's our breakfast summer program. And what we do, we started this. This is the second year. We started this because we know that the food banks are really stressed, as it is, just in general, let alone when the kids get out of school for the summer months. And breakfast is now not available at school, but we have been funding this. Last year it was $10,000 per food bank of 3 food banks, Souk, Sydney, and of course I'm sorry, I'm just Goldstream. There we go.
It's early.
And so I know, and then all 3 of those food banks, just fantastic. But this year we've pledged 20,000. 10,000 a month. It's just so important. But they need it. They need to have breakfast because their day is just not rounded that way.
No, and it's a great way to help out beyond Christmas, because that's what Kids Count does. Because whether it's cases like this, trying to feed people over Christmas, which is where the raffle's going, but there's all these different things that happened outside of the Christmas season, and the food one's great because and we've talked about this a million times, Christine, but we should talk about it again. When children are in school, there's some food programs to help out, breakfast programs, lunch programs, snacks, all those kind of things available. Well, when school's not on, like during the summer, those supports go away.
Yeah, it gets scarce. It gets scarce in the pantry, and parents, more than ever, are relying on our food banks, and I don't blame them at all. Costs are so high. Lisa and I were talking the other day about the increase between 4 and 6% in food costs. It's just there, and it's a hard strain on families that are struggling.
You have a privileged position, a bird's eye view of what exactly they're looking for when it comes to food. And I know we give money because it frees them up to buy what they need. But I'm thinking of, even the fresh fruits and vegetables. These are things that families just normally wouldn't afford or be able to afford if we didn't step in. Is that right, Christine?
That's absolutely true. And, just proof in the pudding, we've been also supporting Burnside Gorge's May and June program, 480 families needing fresh food and eggs and bread. I mean, it's just so important. And as a community, we can band together and help each other right here at home. It's so simple, to get on that summer bandwagon with us, with Kids Count, and make it really matter here at home.
Yeah, I bought cherries yesterday. Almost had a coronary. And, well, it's the reality of it. And you think I can't. I'm just shopping for me. So I think if I have 2 young ones, and kids are growing. You think of when they're like Ryan has 2 growing boys in their tweens. He needs a second fridge. So
literally
12 and 15 years old.
That happened.
Yeah. So I can't imagine the stress that families must be under when they probably avoid the produce aisle, and that's not what we want to see happen with growing minds and bodies.
And the dairy aisle, even, just to even have some fresh protein in yogurts and things like that. So these are things that our food banks are able to monitor and then go and pay for with some of that extra breakfast money. It's restricted to that. That's what they have for their use, just for that. So just think about that and visit our website to learn more, or CFAX 1070, Virgin Radio, and get on that 50-50 and walk away with a little bit in your pocket this end of summer.
Exactly. There's the need that's out there. There's where the raffle money will go to support, but also help yourself, because if you win this, you're going to get half the pot, whatever the pot gets to. I mean, we're hoping to make this pretty big if people buy some tickets. Where do you buy tickets? You can go to cfax1070.com. You can go to cfaxsantas.com if you want to. You mentioned Virgin Radio, our sister station at 107.3 Virgin Radio, getting on board with this too. So if you click on the big banner, you just go to any of those websites, you'll see the picture. It's the Mega Summer 50-50. Click on that, and you can buy tickets. Now it's a gaming license. You gotta be overage. Can't be a kid doing it. You got to be in BC. So there's a few restrictions like that, but otherwise you can buy tickets right there online. It's a deal if you buy a lot of them together, because the more you buy, the better the deal is, Christine.
Only takes one ticket to win, though.
That's true. 10 for 1, 5 for 25, 20 for 50. It sounds like when you're at the baseball game and they're walking around yelling at you like 50-50, get your tickets. It's that kind of thing.
That's what we'll be doing next week, Ryan.
Yeah, there you go. Christine, great to talk about this. I'm so excited for our Mega Summer 50-50. Let's see how high we can make that number go, because it's going to a good place. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll keep you up to date on how that's going. I noticed that we're up to, let's see, it says $685, which is not a lot. We've only just started this thing this week.
We're also launching at a time when people are busy. Kids are just out of school. Everyone's planning their vacation. So we're giving it a little bit of time because we want you to be able to latch onto this and not miss out. You do have to be over 19. You do have to be a BC resident. But with that, it gives you more opportunity to possibly win it. And we're expecting this to go quite high.
We hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. So launching it this week with everybody busy with school out and Canada and all that, we understand a little slow in the uptake, but that's going to pick up pace really quickly. So we'll keep a running tab on where it's at. And anytime you want to buy in, it would help us, help you, something to that fact.
And hey,
we both, column A, column B,
if we did
Alberta, BC. No,
I like that.
Wrong.
That was good. If we drew it today, you'd win $342.50, which is nothing to sneeze at.
No, but let's
add some zeros.
Continue to go up. Exactly.
Let's add some zeros behind that.
Very
okay,
nice.
Got to take a break. 7:30 News is next.
Developing political story, a big doozy.
Vashi Capellos.
What started as a dull day is anything but.
The top newsmakers.
Your go-to political debrief. Daily.
What is really going on?
The breaking news.
Just moments ago. And the entertaining analysis and debate to follow.
I don't think you can sugarcoat it. It's an issue.
It's not true, guys. Yeah.
Vashi Capellos.
There is a greater plan here.
Vashi Capellos. Weekdays 9 a.m. to 11.
Bigger picture politically, which
is on CFAX 1070. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. We are looking at some possible rain heading towards Greater Victoria. Full details to come. Right now, 7:32. Let's take a look at the news. Here's Lisa.
Thank you. And that should further dampen the fire conditions, the fire threat on this island. The BC Wildfire Service says there's only one wildfire currently burning out of control in the province, a far cry we've had in previous years. It's the so-called Riley Creek fire burning south of Lillooet, about 50 hectares in size. The service says it is one of 18 active fires burning in BC. A fire discovered earlier this morning on Thetis Island, the Southern Gulf Islands, currently classified as being held at well under a hectare in size. Looks like crews have a good handle on that. The latest situational report says the cool, wet weather is helping decrease the risk of new fire starts in most regions across the province, including here on Vancouver Island. Victoria Police continue to ask for witnesses to a collision involving a pedestrian earlier this week. The hit and run happened around 1 Tuesday morning at Cook Street in Caledonia, adjacent to the ballpark. The pedestrian is said to be in serious condition. If you have any information or even dash cam footage, they'd like to hear from you. Maritime shipping costs might affect you. They're soaring to 4-year highs thanks to the fallout from tariff uncertainty and the war with Iran that continues. And there will be potential repercussions for consumers.
Industry specialists say retailers and wholesalers are rushing to book shipments to get ahead of a potential fresh round of U.S. tariffs on dozens of countries expected near the end of July. Shipping platform Freightos says that surge in demand is pushing transport prices up. High fuel prices and reduced availability of vessels and crew because of the Strait of Hormuz closure also play a role in the rising costs. The Platts Container Index shows global shipping rates for containers jumped about 80% over the past month to their highest level since April 2022. Michelle Zedekian, The Canadian Press.
As expected yesterday, U.S. officials opted not to extend CUSMA. CTV's Rachel Ello has more on what that means and how officials are reacting.
The U.S. refusal means all three countries will have to review the deal annually. Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc downplayed the decision, noting it remains fully in force until 2036 and can be renewed at any time for another 16-year period. While the deal continues for now, so do the punishing sectoral tariffs.
Together, we can give ourselves far more than anyone can take away.
No official talks between Ottawa and Washington are on the books yet.
Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
And Donald Trump's latest financial disclosure report shows he raked in about $1.2 billion last year from various crypto holdings, overshadowing the real estate business that brought him to fame and propelled him into the White House. Whereas it took decades for Trump to amass his various properties, the rise in crypto and her portfolio took about a year. The stunning disclosure this week, that report, about 900 pages long. For context, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance's disclosure was 17 pages long, and former U.S. President Joe Biden's disclosure that covered the year before he left office was 11 pages long. Trump took in tens of millions from new property holdings in foreign countries. For the salesman, he also made big money off the smallest of things, pulling in millions for slapping his name on Bibles, guitars, even watches, the latter bringing in $4.7 million for him. That's your news to 7:36. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. Have you curbed your dining out, entertainment, and sporting events to save money? 46% say yes, a lot. 32% say a little. And 22% nope. Still going out and still eating out too. You can vote at cfax1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 7:37.
Thanks, Lisa. Traffic tip. Texter's still letting us know things are a little slow on the Trans-Canada Highway as you head in towards Victoria, just past Millstream, just before Thetis, sort of in that stretch of the highway. Police are dealing with some kind of incident off to the side of the road, and people are just kind of taking it easy as they get past whatever that situation is. You can text me at 71010 if you have any updates, but that update came in just 7 minutes ago. Thank you so much for the text. Over to CFAX 1070 Sports. News from the WHL. We have some changes to the schedule coming up for the next hockey season for the WHL. We've heard that the Victoria Royals, first off, will open their regular season September 19th in Kamloops against the Blazers. Our home opener is September 26th against the Vancouver Giants at the Save-On Foods Memorial Centre. But the season is going to be longer, kind of. Same number of games, but taking place over a longer period of time. They're calling it a decompressed schedule, more time for rest and recovery for the children that play. They are, teens, and more time to focus on their schoolwork. The playoffs will start with the first round being a best of 5 instead of a best of 7. That'll help accommodate the slightly longer regular season. They're also going to allow flights. They've been bus only for a while, but WHL clubs will be permitted to travel via air for one set of road games under certain conditions as long as they're long enough distances. So that news out of the WHL. Victoria Harbour Cats evened up their series with an 11-2 win over the island rival Nanaimo Night Owls last night. Nanaimo had won the opener on Tuesday evening. That was the big Canada Day fireworks night. So the Cats and the Owls will finish off the series at Wilson's Group Stadium, Royal Athletic Park tonight before the Harbour Cats hit the road for a weekend series in Kelowna. The Blue Jays are about to hit the road themselves. They're going to be taking on the Seattle Mariners in Seattle starting tomorrow for 3-game set. Last night, the Jays with a win 9-3 over the New York Mets, and Toronto wins that series against the Mets, the first series victory they've had since mid-June. Over to the FIFA World Cup. Continuing today, 3 round of 32 matchups. First off, Spain plays Austria. Then Portugal takes on Croatia at Toronto Stadium, which is the last one for Toronto, I think. This is their final game they're hosting. BC Place Stadium, Vancouver. We'll also have a game today. That's Switzerland meeting Algeria. And that is your CFAX 1070 Sports to 740. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather at 7:41. So slow down on the Trans-Canada Highway, some kind of police incident. They're doing something off to the side of the road as you head towards Victoria, just past Millstream. So that's the Trans-Canada Highway just past Millstream. Police incident, and things are slowing up a little bit. The good news is it's, again, a very light traffic volume kind of day. So even though this thing's going on, it's not causing too much of an issue because there's just not as much traffic on the roads as this Canada Day week continues. Bay Street Bridge, full closure continuing until 8, so that should wind up in about 20 minutes, if not before. But yeah, overnight road work on the Bay Street Bridge continuing, and at BC Ferries, no sailing waits right now, although it's getting close. The 8 o'clock sailing about 90% full from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. In the weather, a few sunny breaks with us at the moment, but some showers are on the way. I was looking at the weather radar, and up island, we've been seeing the rain kind of washing over, and it's sort of heading south towards us. So we are thinking that sometime later this morning, We'll see a few showers blow through Victoria. Then it should come to an end of the afternoon. Small chance of drizzle overnight, so we could still see something, but it looks like the main bit of it will pass us by kind of midday in the Victoria area. It's also a lot cooler today, so 15 degrees is the high. We're around about 12 right now. Tonight, the lows will go down to about 13 degrees, so they don't actually drop. We're going to just sort of stay the same temperature, more or less, within a couple of degrees today and tonight. It all starts to change tomorrow. After we get through that chance of drizzle in the morning, we'll have a cloudy day, but drier as the day goes on. Highs of 18. Saturday and Sunday clearing with some sunshine. Highs of 20 on Saturday, 23 on Sunday. Right now, like I said, about 12 degrees. On the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto open again after being closed for Canada Day yesterday. It's up 41 points to 34,898. The Dow in New York is up 411 to 52,716. The Nasdaq is up 91 to 26,131. Canadian dollar at 70.5 cents US. Oh, I did it again. It's just not the same if it doesn't play. I need to feel normal.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Phew, okay, I'm better now.
Wow, I feel centered somehow.
I feel so much better.
Okay.
There you go.
It's the little things.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so not only do we have the Mega Summer 50-50 supporting Kids Count by CFAX Santa's Anonymous going on, we've also got tickets to give away today to see Pacific FC.
Oh, nice.
Now, we've been giving them away around about this time. So maybe we should do it?
Okay.
What do you think?
You can help them win.
So Pacific FC, they got Halifax in town on a Sunday. They've been off for a couple of weeks because of the World Cup break. A lot of soccer leagues taking the time off right now because the World Cup is on, but they're back.
No one's watching.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Focus on the big thing.
Of course.
But now they're back on Sunday. And they've got the new coach in. It's going to be a big, exciting day for Pacific FC out there at Starlight Stadium. We'd like to send you with 4 tickets. So let's just do it. I'm going to open up the phone lines at 250-386-1161. Right now, 250-386-1161. If you want the tickets, 4-pack to Pacific FC, just give me a call. Look, there's the phone. It's ringing. Who's this?
Someone's awake.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Who's this?
Good morning.
Axel.
Axel?
Hello, Axel.
What are you up to today?
Watering the lawn.
We're being nosy.
Like right now, are you standing outside with the hose as you talk to me on the phone?
No.
Okay. You came in for the phone call. Watering the lawn, that's actually a good thing to do because we were talking to Fiona, our gardening expert, back on Monday, and she was saying the best days to water are actually the days where it is raining because it sort of like makes the ground more absorbent.
Oh, good. Well, that worked last week too. So
all right. You chose wisely.
Well, it sometimes feels strange to be watering when you know it's going to get wet, but that when you only have certain days, then you have to do it then, right?
Exactly, and it just happens to line up because that was the tip we heard from Fiona. Do it when it's raining. Are you a Pacific FC fan, Axel?
Yes.
So, wow. Then I guess you're going to be excited to go on Sunday.
I think that would be great, and I've got some grandkids visiting from Saskatchewan who are going to come with me.
Oh, amazing. Well, you got 4 tickets, so here we go. Well, if you got guests in town who get to go, I'm really glad you called in today. Thank you so much, Axel.
Thank you so much for this treat. So,
well, have a wonderful day. Don't go anywhere, though. Hold on the line because I'm going to talk to you off the air. And we'll get you your tickets. Lisa, I love it when people have those stories. Like, they just sort of lines up. Like, I've got people in town. We were looking for things to do. And look, there's the tickets showed up.
It's like manna from heaven.
I love it. Okay, well, let's get the news headlines on here. At 7:46, here's Lisa.
The BC Wildfire Service says there's only one wildfire burning out of control in this province, a far cry from previous years. The so-called Riley Creek Fire, which is burning south of Lillooet, about 50 hectares in size. The service says it's about one of 18 active fires in BC, according to their website this morning. The latest situational report says the cool, wet weather is helping really drop the risk of new fires starting in most regions of the province. But, of course, if you're going camping this weekend, taking the kids out, be careful with the fires. The Goose campfires. A fire discovered this morning on Thetis Island is currently classified as being held well under a hectare in size, so crews making fast work of that. Canada's envoy to the UN says Prime Minister Mark Carney's vision of working with countries that aren't traditional allies is beginning to take shape. Our UN ambassador, David Lametti, says part of his job is coordinating with middle powers on issues that matter to Canada. That includes work on safe adoption of artificial intelligence, addressing Haiti's security crisis, and preserving international law. He says those goals can't be pursued solely through rich countries. So Canada renewing its relations with China and India while seeking trade linkages with Europe and Pacific Rim countries just makes common sense. Rescuers pulled a 43-year-old security guard alive from a collapsed basement in Venezuela 8 days after those twin earthquakes struck. The man had been trapped since June 24th beneath a shopping mall in La Guaira, where he worked overnight. His small security cabin stayed partially intact as the building collapsed, creating an air pocket that kept him alive. A Costa Rican Red Cross team detected signs of life over the weekend, made contact with the man, and helped lead the rescue operation. Pretty amazing story. That's your news, 7:48.
Well, congratulations again to Axel for winning our 4-pack of tickets. We got another 4-pack of tickets to see Pacific FC take on Halifax this Sunday. Tomorrow, we're going to give those away. So one more 4-pack to give away. Stay tuned for your chance to win. We got some BC politics to talk about. So it's been a busy week. We got Canada Day. Lots of stuff has been going on. So we don't want to miss some of the important things happening as well, like the fact that the BC Conservatives, you know how they've got the new leader in Carrie Lynn Findlay after their leadership contest wrapped up. Now, she has really shaken things up in her sort of front benches, the shadow cabinet for the BC Conservatives.
Yes.
A whole bunch of new positions. Some people reading into this thinking like, a lot of the people who supported her during her campaign for leader getting rewarded, and people who maybe competed against her or supported her competition getting sort of shuffled to the side. Mm-hmm. That's one read on this. Is that true? Is that what's happening? Well, legislative reporter with the Canadian Press, Wolfgang Deppner, joining us with a take on the shuffle next.
Where the noise stops and the conversation begins.
Hey, it's Friday. Welcome to the Graham Richardson Show.
The stories that shaped your week aren't just headlines. They are the moments we live through and the decisions that change what comes next.
Let's take a closer look at that together.
It's national conversations. From major policy shifts to the fun, unexpected trends and friends everyone will be talking about. It is intelligent, unpredictable, and completely Canadian. Stay informed. Stay ahead. The Graham Richardson Show. Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods, where first of the season wild sockeye salmon has arrived fresh from the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, never frozen, and delivered daily. Eat happy. Okay, what's going on the roads? Well, continued slowdown on the Trans-Canada Highway. This has just been a feature all morning. Police have been dealing with some kind of incident. It might be clearing up by now. I'm not sure. I haven't heard an update in a little bit, so text me at 71010 if you see anything. This is Trans-Canada Highway just past Millstream, heading in towards Victoria. There were police off to the side of the road dealing with the situation. If you have an update, let me know. Is it clearing up? 7:10. We also have the full overnight closure of the Bay Street Bridge. Still in effect, I understand. It's scheduled to go until 8. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be opening any moment now, but maybe just give that a little bit of space for the next few minutes. That's the Bay Street Bridge closed both directions for continued overnight road work. It's going to be in effect again tonight, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. The weather forecast, a few showers are heading our way. At least that's what's in the forecast. So by later this morning and maybe into the early afternoon, a few showers for the greater Victoria area. It eases off, just a chance of drizzle for the rest of the evening and overnight. Highs of only 15 today, so a bit cooler. Lows of 13 overnight. And then tomorrow, once we get through that morning chance of drizzle, we should dry up and some sunshine on the way for the weekend.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
Let's talk BC politics with Wolfgang Deppner from the Canadian Press. He's their legislative reporter, and he's joining us on the line. Wolfgang, how you doing?
Hi, good morning. Good morning to you and listeners.
It's great to get you here because we wanted to sort of take a look at the BC Conservative Party. So they've recently finished off their leadership contest, which resulted in Carrie Lynn Findlay becoming the new leader. And now she's managed to kind of shake up the shadow cabinet, sort of her front bench. And we've got a sense of who she's moving where and, you know, what we can read into it. So let's take a look at this. We've got a few moves that are interesting. We've been looking at a few of her supporters in some pretty high positions. We've got Chilliwack area MLA Heather Maas as interim leader, Prince George MLA Sheldon Clare in the opposition House leader spot. Macklin McCall is the whip. He's another supporter who endorsed her during the race. So is this all of the supporters getting rewarded? Well, not entirely, because Peter Millibar, one of her chief rivals, and it got real heated between the two of them during the campaign, is going to maintain his finance minister sort of shadow cabinet role, critic for the finance minister. So we've got those are some of the highlights. Take me through what all this means and what we can glean from all this.
Yeah, so let's look at the leadership team first. And the changes that we saw announced earlier clearly signal Carolyn Findlay's stamp. She's trying to put sort of her people into key leadership positions, starting with the House leader. So Sheldon Clare is now the new House leader. We have a new whip, and we have a new interim leader. And as you said, all those three of those names, McCollum and Sheldon Clare, they all supported Carolyn Findlay during the leadership campaign. She has, however, retained much of her shadow cabinet, and those are the MLAs who keep tabs on the various ministries. And you already mentioned the key figure here in this, and that's Peter Millibar. Peter Millibar remains finance critic, and his supporters, those MLAs who supported him during the leadership campaign, also retain their specific portfolios. And I actually think that's a smart move. One, it retains their expertise. It shows that Findlay trusts these individuals to keep doing their job. Just imagine the stories we'd be doing if, let's say, Peter Millibar were to be moved out of that finance portfolio. More importantly, I think it signals it's a sort of a signal to the other parts of the party that, hey, look, we're all on the same team here. You might even say it's a signal of reconciliation. So on one hand, she has made some changes to reflect, to sort of reward those who supported her. But on the other hand, she's also smart enough to know that she needs everyone on the same page here.
Talk about Ali Warbus, another interesting member of the BC Conservative Party, and where she's ended up and the changes for her.
Yeah, so that's a really good question, and it's I would say it's actually fairly complex, and I think what we saw with that change is Findlay responding to some of the perhaps more radical voices on the right side of the political spectrum generally. For many figures, maybe not inside the Conservative Party, but certainly outside of it, certainly on the right side of the political spectrum, Warbucks was a polarizing figure. People like Paul Ratchford and others who were once part of the Conservative Party, but then sort of drifted further to the right, have always taken shots at Warbucks for being sort of not being part of the party, and there are some pretty how should I say this? Pretty nasty overtones in the criticism that was aimed at Warbucks over the past few months. Warbucks being, of course, the daughter of the former Lieutenant Governor Stephen Lewis Point. Also, she's also Indigenous, and that was a lot of people outside the Conservative Party, but within the Conservative spectrum were sort of we're taking shots at her, and those shots weren't always the best ones. Let's put it this way. So in a way, this is sort of Findlay moving Warbucks out of that position as sort of a concession to those voices.
Yeah, she was dropped as House Leader. That's what she was doing, and now has been demoted out of that. Still involved, though. She's a housing critic, so she's still got a role, just not the bigger position she was in.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean that move was very surprising. I thought, surprising in the sense that Warbucks is a very competent MLA. I mean, she handled that role. Handled that role very well. But as I suggest, this is sort of a concession to some of the more radical voices within the Conservative spectrum.
Okay, we're out of time, but I have one last quick one, and that's Trevor Halford. Talk about where he ended up after what he's been through over the last period of time with the transition.
Yeah, so he's going to be sort of looking at transit and ICBC, and Halford is an excellent MLA. I mean, he did a really good job leading the party after John Russett's departure.
Yeah, he was the interim leader over this period of time. Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah. He was the interim leader. He really steadied the ship for the party. He created sort of a message discipline. Party was very disciplined in what it was saying. It actually, under his leadership, the party also achieved some legislative successes. They managed to push through a handful of private members' bills. If he were to grade his record A+, so to speak, or an A even, A+ even, and he's going to be one of their most effective MLAs. He's not going to be front bench, but he's going to be a figure to watch for sure.
Wolfgang Deppner with the Canadian Press. He's covering the legislature. We got to leave it there because we're out of time. But thanks for sort of dissecting some of the news there with the BC Conservatives putting together a new front bench and actually just shuffling everybody's roles after Carrie Lynn Findlay emerged as the leader of their leadership contest a few weeks back now. Thanks so much for talking to us. Have a great rest of your day.
Excellent. Same to you. Thank you. Take care.
8 o'clock news is next on CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 8:02 on this Thursday that feels like a Monday. It's July the 2nd, and we are looking at some showers coming in towards Victoria. Full forecast to come. Right now, the news begins. Here is Lisa Best.
Thank you, Ryan. Good morning. As the deadline arrives for most of the province to pay local property taxes, small business in this province cites the cost of their local government is a top burgeoning issue. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business survey finds 62% of small business in this province identifies local government costs as a concern, ranking third behind the total tax burden and government debt and deficit. Victoria, Kelowna, Prince George topping the list of most concerning cities, with nearly 3/4 of all businesses upset at the cost of local government. Vancouver recently passed the zero means zero property tax freeze, ranking the lowest and the only government to see a decline in cost concerns since 2022, when the civic elections were last held. Kamloops saw the largest increase in local government concern, rising from 42 to 59%, followed by Kelowna. The heat wave that's been bearing down on Ontario this week has shown no signs of letting up, and now it's spreading further east.
Environment Canada has scores of heat warnings posted again for most of Ontario and Quebec, and now stretching across to New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island. Daytime temps in Ontario, from Windsor to Ottawa and Thunder Bay through Timmins and southern James Bay, are clocking in the mid-30s, with the humidex making it feel even hotter. Similar heat warnings across much of Quebec are forecasting highs around 33 degrees and humidex values near 45. Meanwhile, power utility crews have been working hard to get tens of thousands of people back online after pockets of customers across southern Ontario and southern Quebec lost electricity in severe thunderstorms last night. Karen Rebo, The Canadian Press.
A large chunk of the eastern U.S. also remains under that heat advisory. Americans under alerts today as triple-digit Fahrenheit temperatures leave event organizers scrambling to deal with the summer swell. Yeah, this is the situation in New York.
Millions facing what could be one of the hottest July 4ths on record.
I got in the car. It felt like I almost burned myself. It was bad.
FIFA fans out in force at FanFests and games along the East Coast from New Jersey to Atlanta.
It's very exciting. I like everything, so it's very, very exciting, but it's very, very hot.
Event organizers patrolling the grounds in the event someone needs help.
The mayor of New York City asking people to set their air conditioners at no lower than 78 Fahrenheit. Canada's ambassador to the UN says the Prime Minister's vision of working with countries that aren't traditional allies is beginning to gel at the UN.
David Lametti says part of his job is coordinating with middle powers on issues that matter to Canada. That includes work on safe adoption of artificial intelligence, addressing Haiti's security crisis, and preserving international law. The former Canadian Justice Minister says those goals can't be pursued solely through rich countries, so Canada has renewed its relations with China and India while seeking trade linkages with Europe and Pacific Rim countries. Prime Minister Mark Carney attracted global attention this January with a speech to the World Economic Forum in Davos, urging middle powers to band together to advance their interests and avoid being subjected by superpowers. Naira Ahmed, The Canadian Press.
And he's not a household name, but you certainly know the song he wrote.
There's a place you can go. I said, young man.
That's Victor Willis. He was the policeman in YMCA and Macho Man for the Village People. He actually co-founded the group and co-wrote some of the group's biggest disco hits, including this one. Victor died today at the age of 74. The group announcing his death on Facebook. He helped them in 1977 form the group. YMCA was out in 1978. The song became a phenomenon we still dance to. It was added to the National Recording Registry back in 2020. And that's your news to 8:07. For CFAX 1070 News poll question, have you curbed your dining out, entertainment, and sporting events in order to save money in your budget? 50% are saying yes, a lot. 32% say a little, and 18% not at all. You can vote at cfax1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 8:08.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning. Welcome to what will be maybe a slightly wet day. It's not here yet, but we are expecting some showers a little later this morning for the greater Victoria area. Up Island, the rain's already been falling. It's sort of moving down towards us. So a few showers to come. I'll tell you the details in a moment. Right now, over to the CFAX 1070 Sports, where we're going to start with the World Cup report.
This is your TSN Radio FIFA World Cup 2026 update.
I'm John Rodenberg. Harry Kane rescued England from a round of 32 exit at the hands of DR Congo.
Harry Kane. It's Kane! Oh, wow!
Kane scored twice in the final 15 minutes of the match to give England a 2-1 win and a spot in the round of 16 in Mexico versus Mexico on Sunday. Belgium scored 2 late goals to tie and then added the winning goal on a penalty kick in extra time to defeat Senegal 3-2. The Belgians will play the United States on Monday. The Americans overcame a red card to striker Folarin Balogun and blank Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0. Balogun is suspended for the next match. Today, Spain meets Austria. The final game at Toronto Stadium is the highly anticipated Portugal-Croatia matchup at 7 Eastern. And then 11 Eastern tonight in Vancouver, Switzerland faces Algeria. Saturday, Canada plays its next biggest game ever versus Morocco. You can watch the FIFA World Cup matches on TSN, CTV, Crave, and streaming at tsn.ca. Listen on the TSN Radio Network with all games streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
There you go. And a quick look at the local scene where the Victoria Harper Cats baseball team and the Nanaimo Night Owls, their island rivals, continuing their series. Last night it was an 11-2 win for Victoria. The night before that, they kicked it off with Nanaimo and the Night Owls winning. So now, with one game apiece, we head into the final of 3 tonight. 6:35 is the game time at Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium. And after that, the Victoria Harper Cats will hit the road. They got a weekend series in Kelowna coming up. That's your sports to 8:10.
Show with Tony Joe.
Everyone wants to know about real estate. Is the market going up or down? Time to buy or sell? How can government programs and policies affect you? Hear from local experts on topics like appraisal, inspection, investment, and others on how to maximize your real estate sale.
Providing info on everything you needed to know about real estate. The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe. Saturdays at noon on CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It is 8:11. We still have been watching a slowdown on the Trans-Canada Highway southbound just past Millstream, but I think it's cleared now. As far as I can tell, whatever that police incident was that took place for over a couple of hours just off to the side of the road, again, Trans-Canada Highway just past Millstream heading towards Victoria, it looks like it's cleared up. If I'm wrong, text me at 71010, but I think it's smooth sailing there. The good news is that the volume has been so light today. The commute has been so light today because we're kind of continuing this vacation week with Canada Day in the middle of it and all that. So not a lot of people driving. It didn't cause too much of an issue, and it's already looking like it's clearing up. For the weather forecast today, we do have some showers rolling in. If I watch the weather radar here, we've been seeing some showers wash over the northern part of Vancouver Island. It's kind of down around Nanaimo now. Port Renfrew starting to get it. Areas around Lake Cowichan starting to get it. It's sort of coming in towards Victoria. By later this morning, we're expecting those showers. They don't last long, though. They kind of blow through, and by later this evening, just a chance of drizzle. Highs of 15 today. On the markets, S&P TSX up 92 to 34,949. The Dow is up 429 points to 52,734. Canadian dollar at 70.5 cents US.
Let's get started. Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, let's get into one of the big news stories that emerged over the Canada Day holiday yesterday. While we were all reveling, there were some pretty tense things going on when it comes to trade between Canada and the U.S. and Mexico. Experts are saying that the U.S. deciding not to renew the existing CUSMA trade pact doesn't mean much, despite the fact that it sounds very dramatic, as long as talks stay productive. But what does this mean? There's a lot to unpack here, so we thought we'd get right into it. David Black, regular voice here on CFAX 1070. He's with Royal Roads University. He's a professor of communications and culture. He's also got a deep interest in free trade as well. So he's weighing in, getting him on the line. David Black, how you doing?
Very good. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, you're telling me you've got actually quite a keen interest in the free trade stuff.
Yes, and your listeners don't really care to hear about my MA thesis 2 decades ago, but I did my MA thesis on free trade and the 88 election that was so galvanizing for Canadians. Yes, so I have some. I'm not an economist, but I have some interest in this issue that goes beyond just following the news and being just an ordinary Canadian.
Yeah, great to get your perspective on this then. So I think a lot of us are still wondering what it all means, what we saw yesterday. So, I mean, part of the story was that the U.S. has decided not to kind of renew, but what does that mean and what doesn't it mean, I guess, is maybe where we could start. Maybe give us a perspective on that.
Right. So go back to 2020 at the end of the first Trump term, when the CUSMA was renegotiated, a new kind of coat of paint was put on it, and it was a good news story for the Trump administration. Hailed us the greatest deal ever. We've heard that before, perhaps from the White House. 6 years later, and this was a review process that was built into the 2020 deal, we've reached the end of 6 years. And at that anniversary, the U.S. government had the option of pursuing what's called non-renewal. So essentially, there are three options. One, a 16-year extension of the agreement as is, which would have been, the preferred outcome for the Carney government, but unlikely. The worst option would be a 6-month sort of announcement that because any party to the agreement can announce that they are leaving the agreement, and there's a 6-month runway for that. So that would be disastrous. We'd be essentially out of free trade entirely. So this was the middle option, non-renewal, which sounds bad, and it's not great, but it means that we have 10 years of basically maintaining the status quo. Each year, there's going to be a kind of annual review, so a certain amount of uncertainty. And then in 2036, presumably after President Trump has left office, there will be an expiry of the CUSMA or the USMCA. But again, the agreement can be renewed at any time during that 10-year period. So it basically locks in the status quo, but with this kind of uncertain outcome 10 years hence, where we could see a formal expiry and then the end of free trade here in North America.
And what does that mean? There's a lot there. Is this like a bargaining tactic for the U.S. to kind of like keep the trade deal, but kind of maybe apply some pressure? What does this mean if you are business and you are now facing maybe some uncertainty about the state of free trade? Will this be a problem there? We got a lot to unpack about what this all means. But that's sort of the mechanics of what just happened yesterday on this July 1st. It's not like a sudden end to anything. Things are just going to continue on with the status quo, like you said, but the U.S. deciding not to renew for the full 16 years. The CUSMA deal, what we used to call NAFTA. Let's get into this a bit more in a moment. Do you mind holding on the line, David?
Of course.
Okay, we'll do that just a moment after we get to the news. With the headlines, here's Lisa.
Prime Minister Mark Carney making tracks to the West Coast. Again today, he'll be in Vancouver meeting with the BC Premier David Eby, discussing major projects here. Carney's itinerary says today's announcement with David involves a new cooperative prosperity partnership unpack that. It probably means what we're going to get out of having a pipeline across our province. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith was also expected to announce today those next steps in her province's plan to push that new oil pipeline through to the Pacific Coast. EB had pointed out the proposal pipeline lacks a firm route or a private sector proponent, and had said Ottawa should put more emphasis on energy and infrastructure projects in this province than have the private backing already. Carney, in a video, says that the goals set by former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government for climate and energy plan were well-intentioned, but they're also not sustainable over the long term, so we won't be meeting those goals as well. Donald Trump's latest disclosure agreement shows that the U.S. president's personal wealth ballooned by more than $2 billion over the past year. That stunning disclosure this week, 900 pages long. For context, the vice president's disclosure was 17 pages, and former U.S. President Joe Biden's disclosure for the whole year before he left office was 11 pages. Trump's documents show that money came from a number of different revenue streams, everything from selling watches under his name, Bibles, individual real estate investment, his Mar-a-Lago resort home in Florida. The biggest profit driver in his portfolio, though, was cryptocurrency. An actor and activist, Danny Glover, has told us he has Alzheimer's disease. The Lethal Weapon star, who turns 80 on July 22nd, was diagnosed 3 years ago. He says he's still coming to terms with the disease. Alzheimer's affects more than 700,000 people in Canada and, of course, millions more worldwide. That's your news, Date 19.
Hey, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a home that's comfortable no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. We're sort of getting through some of our issues on the roads. The Bay Street Bridge has reopened after an overnight closure. The police incident on the Trans-Canada Highway southbound past Millstream has cleared. All's looking good. No sailing waits at BC Ferries either at this time, although it's close. 9 o'clock sailing from Swartz Bay to Swanson is... it just did. It was close when I looked. Now it is full. It's just ticked over.
Scared it.
I did. It's a 1 sail wait at BC Ferries. 9 o'clock is full. The 10, though, is coming up, so you don't have long to wait. In the weather, some showers are heading towards Victoria. We have a few scattered showers expected through the middle of the day. It should just be a chance of drizzle tonight. Highs expected to hit 15 today. Right now, it's about 12.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
All right, so the United States has rejected renewing the CUSMA deal, what we used to call NAFTA, free trade between Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. Sounds dramatic, but as we're hearing, it's kind of not as dramatic as it could have been. This is just kind of potentially 10 years of just waiting and seeing, but maintaining the status quo with annual reviews. That's the option that the U.S. has picked, as we're hearing from David Black. He is Royal Roads University professor, joins us from time to time to talk about national politics and beyond, and here he is again. Thanks for holding on the line.
Oh, of course. Glad to be here.
So you kind of sketched out what actually happened, the mechanics of what the United States did when they chose not to renew in the news yesterday. But let's talk about what this actually means, because I feel like there's a couple of different reasons for this. One seems like, is this just a bargaining tactic on the part of the U.S., still trying to get the concessions they want out of Canada, things like dairy, for instance, they'd like to more into the dairy market. Are they just trying to continue to leverage themselves into a better deal is one of the questions I have. And then the other thing is just, what is the effect of it? Even though it's the status quo, with this added uncertainty, that can't be good for, long-term business planning. So what are your takes on all of that?
Well, I think in terms of sort of what the strategy here is, I think there are two things going on. First of all, just as a matter of kind of economic policy and it essentially kind of the U.S.'s positioning of itself within the world as we find it in 2026. The White House has been concerned to kind of undo globalization, to attack, if you will, the post-war liberal trading order that they were a major part of building, and instead pursue what's been called Fortress North America. To use a fancy term from kind of economic history, a kind of neo-mercantilist sort of economic project where the Canadian and Mexican economies are more integrated in the United States. High tariff walls go up against the rest of the world, and we become, less partners and more kind of, subordinates to, kind of American power. The U.S. doesn't need the world as much as other countries need the world. They're pretty self-sufficient in a lot of ways. They don't import as much as we do. And so, there's a philosophical project there. In part, the predicate has always been the Rust Belt, the American worker, the effects of globalization on them, and trying to undo a system that the White House has seen was, as they argue, was grossly unfair to the American worker. In terms of actual tactics, however, if you get away from the kind of economic vision, it is about leverage. This is a president who likes to see himself as a deal maker. The project here is that the plan is to pursue bilateral deals, U.S.-Mexico, U.S.-Canada, and build those on top of the existing CUSMA sort of structure. Jameson Greer, the U.S. trade rep, calls the CUSMA the load-bearing structure in which these bilateral deals, which would not have to be likely approved by Congress, will be built. The U.S. is concerned to end supply management in our agricultural sector and get the Online Streaming Act undone and go at things, things that are more symbolic than material, like the removal of U.S. alcohol from a lot of provincial liquor store shelves. Not the biggest deal in the world, but, an irritant for the White House. So those are the things that they want. For Canada, we just want to maintain some connections to the United States. 70% of our exports go there, even as we unwind that a little bit and look to other markets, as Prime Minister Carney has been busy doing. But at the end of the day, we share a border and a continental economy with Mexico and the United States, and we can't ignore that.
David, the fact that our booze their booze isn't on our shelves as an irritant still surprises me with the clout that the U.S. has. But we knew this was kind of coming. As an average Canadian sitting back, Donald Trump has made every indication he was going to vote this down. He wasn't a fan of CUSMA for whatever reason. And it didn't really vary from day to day, where he sometimes changes his mind quite often. Is there anything government could have done to thwart this from coming to fruition on the first? Like, what could we have done differently, if anything?
Well, actually, our best friends in this, our allies, unlikely as it is both Congress and kind of, the U.S. corporate sector. The reason that Trump didn't basically give a 6-month notice and leave the agreement, I think, is because it wouldn't pass Congress and it would have to. And there are a lot of corporations. Corporate America likes CUSMA, benefits by it, really depends on these supply chains, and doesn't want this undone. So we are kind of allied with unlikely sort of partners in this against the White House. And I think that remains the biggest constraint, not our persuasive abilities, not what Dominic LeBlanc and Jen Charette can do at the table, but the fact that corporate America and some party, even Republican Congress, doesn't want this deal to end.
We're talking about what happened yesterday. July 1st was a big day for free trade and the agreement between Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. The U.S. signaling they're not renewing, but what does that really mean? Because like we've been explaining, it's not like they're leaving it right away. We'll just sort of have this period of uncertainty over maybe 10 years. It's sort of a 10-year wind down. If we get that far, they could renew it any time, and who knows what'll happen. That's a long period of time in politics. So many more things we could have talked about, but I just looked at the clock and we're out of time for today. So David Black, Professor of Communications and Culture at Royal Roads University. Always great to talk to you. Thanks for weighing in. We'll just have to talk again soon about all the other things we could have talked about.
Always glad to talk about trade. Thanks to both of you.
Very good. Okay, we got to take a break. The 8:30 news is coming up in just a few moments. Top stories of the day. We'll also be telling you all about the weather with some rain. It's coming. It's up island. It's coming towards Victoria. The full forecast is next.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
Downtown Victoria is alive with free soccer-themed events, live match screenings, and more. Details at downtownvictoria.ca. Celebrate summer at the 59th Annual Saanich Strawberry Festival, Sunday, July 5th, 11 to 4 p.m. at Beaver Beach at Beaver Lake Regional Park.
Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 8:30 on this Thursday, July the 2nd. It is Thursday. It's not Monday. Just feels like it. Some rain is coming at us. Maybe by later this morning, arriving in the greater Victoria area. I got a full forecast for you in just a moment. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Big conversation happening in Vancouver today. Alberta's premier is expected to give details at the same time around a government's proposed oil pipeline project to the West Coast.
Danielle Smith's announcement comes after she inked a deal last fall with Prime Minister Mark Carney. Their memorandum of understanding pledging to pave the way for a bitumen pipeline to the West Coast. It is tied to progress on a major carbon capture network by the province's biggest oil producers. Smith's announcement also comes as her province prepares to hold a referendum this fall on separating from Canada. She has said the deal with Ottawa shows Canada can work, but those pushing for the province to quit Confederation say the deal cannot fix long-standing grievances. Aaron Sousa, The Canadian Press.
With that in mind, there will be a meeting at 10:15 this morning with media present with Prime Minister Mark Carney. He's heading to Vancouver to meet with Premier David Eby with an announcement on a new multi-billion-dollar agreement for job growth and prosperity in this province. We'll keep you posted on the details of that as they become available. Canada's envoy in New York City says Prime Minister Mark Carney's vision of working with countries that aren't traditional allies is beginning to gel at the UN. Canada's ambassador to the UN, David Lametti, says part of his job is coordinating with middle powers on issues that matter to Canada, including work on safe adoption of AI.
People would like to have a say with respect to the safety and governance of artificial intelligence, but they also would like to be able to benefit from artificial intelligence, specific and general applications. And so They want to have a voice in the adoption.
Lametti also notes work to pool resources with Australia, New Zealand on matters ranging from the Israel-Palestine war to the involvement of women in conflict in peacekeeping are also hitting the radar. U.S. Customs and Border Protection officials told a hearing on Capitol Hill this week that there's been a significant decrease in drug seizures at the border with Canada.
Acting Deputy Chief Jason Schneider also told the House Border Security and Enforcement Subcommittee that there's been a decline in the number of apprehensions of undocumented immigrants. The testimony came as Republican lawmakers made claims that Mexican cartels are looking to Canada as the United States cracks down on smuggling at its southern border. Members of the Trump administration have made similar allegations, despite U.S. government data showing a minuscule volume of fentanyl being seized at the border with Canada compared with Mexico. RCMP have said there's not a pervasive cartel presence in Canada. Kelly Malone, The Canadian Press, Washington.
As the deadline arrives for most in the province to pay local property taxes, small business in BC cites the cost of local government remains a top issue, and guess what city was number one? The Canadian Federation of Independent Business Survey says Victoria came out on top. 77% say it's a problem. That's a 15% increase from the last election year of 2022. 62% of businesses overall identifying local government costs as a concern, ranking third behind the total tax burden. 81% said that, and government debt and deficit 63%. Vancouver recently passed the zero means zero property tax freeze, so it ranked the lowest and was the only government to see a decline in cost concerns since 2022, when the last civic elections were held. Well, it appears Friday night in the Big Apple is the night for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce reportedly are getting married Friday night in New York City's Madison Square Garden. That's according to a law enforcement official who's been briefed on security plans. Mayor Zoran Mamdani wouldn't say much except, "We are fully prepared." Michael O'Brien, co-owner of O'Brien's Bar and Grill just across the street from the garden on 31st Street, is worried about customers being able to access his bar Friday night.
They're telling us, as far as they know for now, people will have access to get to the bar. We've heard that before, as recently as the Knick game when Trump came. That day they told us customers to be allowed as long as they said they were going to the bar. And then they blockaded everything and let nobody here.
And in addition to the much anticipated wedding, there are also July 4th celebrations and tourists and a heat wave. I'm Donna Warder.
Perfect storm. 1,100 guests apparently showing up for the wedding tomorrow, which happens around 2:30 our time. That's your news to 8:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, have you been curbing your dining out, entertainment, and sporting events in order to save money? 50% say yes, a lot. 32% a little, and 18% not at all. You can vote at CFAX1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. Lisa, best your news time is 8:36.
Thanks, Lisa. Good morning. Some showers sort of heading towards Greater Victoria. It's a little overcast to start the day, and some rain by later this morning. Should pass by fairly quickly, though. By later into the evening, we are into just a chance of drizzle. It's cold, too. I mean, comparatively speaking.
Yeah, chillier.
You got to feel it out there. I was getting into work this morning, and you felt the coolness in the air. We're only going to hit a high of 15 today, and I'll get to the full forecast in just a moment. Right now, over to the sports. I haven't talked about Wimbledon yet this morning, and that's been...
We need some tennis.
Let's get some tennis in. Okay. And did you know that Kate, the Princess of Wales, has made an appearance?
She's busy. She's climbing mountains in Britain. Now she's at Wimbledon.
And it's her latest thing she's been doing since her cancer went into remission. She made that announcement. And of course, we hadn't seen a lot of Princess Kate for a while because of the health issues she was dealing with. But now she's visited Wimbledon as the patron of the All England Club. Kate last year was at Centre Court on consecutive days to present the winners' trophies to singles champions. So that was last year. And we're seeing her back there today. So anyways, that's happening in the world of tennis. Wimbledon continues for the world of the FIFA World Cup of Soccer. We got some games today, including both Canadian stadiums in action. First up, the one that's not in Canada is Spain playing Austria. But then Portugal takes on Croatia at Toronto Stadium in the middle of their heat wave. So we'll watch and see how that plays out. And then Switzerland meets Algeria at Vancouver, BC Place Stadium. More of these knockout games. Toronto under that heat advisory. Also a thunderstorm forecast around about the kickoff time for that matchup. So that's the soccer. In the baseball, the Victoria Harbour Cats evened up their series with an 11-2 win over their island rivals, the Nanaimo Night Owls, last night. Nanaimo won the opener on Tuesday evening, so they've split the series so far. Final game tonight. Who's going to win? We'll find out. 6:35. Wilson's Group Stadium, Royal Athletic Park. Toronto Blue Jays with a 9-3 win over the Mets yesterday. And the Jays now travel to Seattle to take on the Mariners. A 3-game series for those two teams starting tomorrow. And I'll close with a bit of news out of the WHL. Yeah, we're in summer, but some hockey news for you. The WHL have announced their next season, the dates for it. For instance, Victoria Royals will open their season September 19th in Kamloops on the road against the Blazers. But they're changing up the way the season works a little bit. They're going to make it the same number of games played over a longer period of time. So it's going to extend about a week for the regular season. They say they've decompressed the schedule to create additional opportunities for rest and recovery for the players, and also let them focus on their education, their schoolwork, since they are, youth players. Then they're also going to shorten the first round of the playoffs to a best of 5 instead of a best of 7 to accommodate the slightly longer regular season. So that's amongst the changes announced by the league. And there's another reason hockey is in the news right now. It's the NHL free agency, which is continuing with several big names still available. 3-time Stanley Cup champion Patrick Kane, Claude Giroux, a couple of the names remaining unsigned after a busy opening day that saw more than 55 players change teams on that opening round of the NHL free agency. It continues, and that's your Sports 2 640.
Thinking about home renos, but the cost is too high? Think again. Explore affordable DIY options from ProTech Exterior Products at beahomepro.com.
All right, I got 2 updates. One is that I said it was 6 in the morning a second ago. It's 8:41. 8:41 is the time, not 6. And I was just talking about Wimbledon. And just as I was doing it, I got an update that Canada's Gabriel Diallo is out of the Wimbledon's men's draw after a marathon 5-set loss to Italy's Lorenzo Sonego in second-round action that just wrapped up. So there's your Wimbledon update, just as I was finishing talking about it. Got that update. Well, that's happening out there in the world of sports. There's not much happening out there in the world of traffic. It is fairly easygoing right now. This sort of easy week where everybody's off for Canada Day. This first week of summer seems to be playing out with very light volume on the roads. If you see something, though, text me at 71010. Is busy at BC Ferries. 1 sail wait. 9 o'clock sailing is full. The 10 o'clock is next if you're going from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. And for the weather forecast, slowly watching the rain come towards us. Up Island, we're seeing some rainfall already. Some showers will be getting to Victoria probably by later this morning. Right now, we're starting to see some showers in the Jordan River and Shirley areas of the Capital Regional District. It's kind of coming towards Crofton, just up over the Malahat and Lake Cowichan, those areas. Duncan's starting to get some showers. This weather system's been kind of moving south across the island, and it's heading down towards Victoria right now. After those showers kind of play out in the kind of middle of the day today, it'll ease up. Just a small chance of drizzle for the rest of the evening and overnight. Tomorrow, we start to turn around after this kind of cool, wet day today. Tomorrow's looking like it's mostly cloudy with highs of 18. Then by the weekend, we're hitting sunshine with temperatures of 20 on Saturday and 23 on Sunday. Right now, it is a lowly 13 degrees. On the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto up 36 to 34,893. The Dow is up 429 to 52,734. The Nasdaq is down 161 to 25,878. Canadian dollar at 70.5 cents US, which is up just a small fraction from the close on Tuesday.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
It's the CFAX Santa's Anonymous Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50. I think this is cool. We talked about this earlier today, Lisa. We were giving everybody the information about the fact that you can buy a 50-50 raffle ticket on like a radio station-wide scale for CFAX Santa's Anonymous and their Kids Count program. And since we last talked about it, it's gone up hundreds of dollars. Tickets are flying off the shelf. This is great.
If we had a shelf.
There's no shelf, but, we're selling tickets.
It's a virtual shelf.
Digital virtual shelf.
Yes, we're closing in or surpassed 1,000 at this point.
It's $1,085 is so far the current pot. Winner takes half when we do the draw coming up on August 28th. Mm-hmm. So just in the last hour or so.
Yeah, it's good.
Good to see.
Good. We're on the map.
If you want to buy a 50-50 ticket and help CFAX Santa's Anonymous in the process, go to any of these websites. You can go to cfax1070.com or cfaxsantas.com, and there's a big banner right at the front there. You'll see it's the 50-50. Just push that. That's where you'll find all the information about how you get your tickets. But yeah, lots of sales today.
Okay,
we'll take a look at the headlines now at 8:45. What's going on in the news, Lisa?
Alberta Premier Danielle Smith expected to outline her government's proposed 1 million barrel a day oil pipeline to the West Coast. The project follows that memorandum of understanding that Smith inked with the Prime Minister last fall to advance bitumen pipeline. The agreement is linked to progress on a major carbon capture network involving Alberta's largest oil producers. Smith said the deal could show Canada can still work for Alberta, even as the province prepares for a separation referendum this fall. The Prime Minister is scheduled to be in Vancouver today, meeting with Premier David Eby to discuss major projects here. Carney's itinerary says it involves a new cooperative prosperity partnership, which means there's something big in it for BC, one would hope. Prime Minister Mark Carney and Premier David Eby announcement with the media will happen at 10:15, so I'll bring you all the details of that as they become available. The Girl Guides, who have carried banners announcing floats for nearly 80 years at the Calgary Stampede, will be getting a little extra love at this year's event. Previously getting up early, walking the entire parade route, would reward the 40 participants with chips, water, and a gate pass. As of Friday, the Girl Guides have introduced a Stampede volunteer badge with a Girl Guide symbol. So one more badge to collect. Christina Smith, a Stampede volunteer and bobsledder with the 2002 Winter Olympics, says the badge will be given to those involved. She says it's a special memory for everyone who embraces volunteerism. Two of the Girl Guides are attending their third parade this time around. That is your news to 8:46.
Lisa, do you know who I love talking to?
That's a loaded question. I'm thinking your wife is first.
Okay, yes, that is correct. There are many correct answers. Among the correct answers is Alan Perry, the host of Tech Talk on CFAX 1070 and longtime voice here on the radio station. He hosts the Tech Talk show, of course, on CFAX, 10 o'clock on Saturdays.
We learn a lot.
But there's a snag here.
What?
You know what's happening 10 o'clock Saturday?
Oh.
It's the World Cup. It's Canada.
Even with Alan's strength and his power with tech, he can't fight the World Cup.
Yeah, so
it's too strong for him.
So we're going to let the World Cup be on the radio on Saturday at 10 a.m. as Canada takes on Morocco in this historic match.
One of our tech tutor.
Well, we're not going to just tell him to go away.
No.
We're going to let him be on the radio early.
It's too valuable.
He's going to start at 8. So a special one-off. This will never happen again. A special 8 o'clock to 10 a.m. Tech Talk. We're making him get up early for this. We're going to talk to him about it next. He's going to talk about that. But he's also got there's a few things in the tech news we want to cover off as well. So we'll get into that in just a few moments here on CFAX 1070.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
Downtown Victoria is alive with free soccer-themed events, live match screenings, and more. Details at downtownvictoria.ca. Celebrate summer at the 59th Annual Saanich Strawberry Festival, Sunday, July 5th, 11 to 4 p.m. at Beaver Beach at Beaver Lake Regional Park.
Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Morning Show is brought to you by Salmon. Quite literally, because Thrifty Foods, first of the season wild Pacific sockeye salmon has arrived. It's fresh from the ocean, it's never frozen, and delivered daily. Eat happy at Thrifty Foods. On the roads, things remain smooth. There's nothing happening. Everybody's off. It's the vacation period, and we don't have a lot to talk about there, but we do have a one-sail wait at BC Ferries. 9 o'clock sailing is full. The 10 is your next available vessel from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. For the weather, that's another thing to talk about, because some showers are on the way for Greater Victoria. That should be mostly kind of middle of the day, later into the morning, early afternoon. We'll see some showers blowing through. Then we're just into some drizzle, a small chance of drizzle for overnight tonight after the rain kind of falls middle of the day. It's colder today, too. I mean, comparatively speaking for summer. It's 15 degrees as a high. We're only at 12 right now. Overnight lows ahead at 13 degrees.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, I've had the pleasure of knowing Alan Perry, host of Tech Talk here on CFAX 1070, for a good few years. And one thing I've learned about him, among others, is that he does not necessarily like waking up early in the morning. So we're going to have to send the wake-up crew around his house come Saturday, because we're getting him up early for a special early edition of Tech Talk to make room for the World Cup of Soccer and that Canada-Morocco matchup that's going to be at 10, the usual time for Tech Talk. Alan, I'm surprised you're even awake here right now to talk to me.
Good morning. Yeah, I was going to say, can I book a wake-up call for 6 a.m. on Saturday?
You bet. Yeah, we'll send a crew around to ring the bell. No, this is great. I'm glad we could still accommodate the Tech Talk program, because everybody loves Tech Talk. Nobody wants to miss Tech Talk. And at the same time, we got to play the World Cup of Soccer. This is history for Team Canada. So talk about what's going to happen and when people can catch you on Saturday.
Yeah, so we're going to be on at 8:05 until 10 on CFAX. Now, I don't want to upset our legions of fans of the Garden Show, so that's why I thought we should give people a heads up. If you're a Garden Show fan, that's perfectly fine, Don and the gang from Kelowna. So if you want to download on a smartphone or tablet, download the Radio Garden app. It's free.
Yeah.
Or on a computer, radio.garden, and then search for AM 1150 News Sports.
Okay.
That's our friend CKFR in Kelowna, where the Garden Show comes from. That way you can listen to the Garden Show, if you prefer, rather than us. I won't be offended at all. And then we will be broadcast live, and then we'll be rebroadcast on Kelowna. So behind the scenes, Catherine and Kyle are going to have to turn around the show really quickly to get it ready for rebroadcast on Kelowna, because they won't be carrying the World Cup game. And then we'll be rebroadcast at our usual time on Sunday afternoon, 1 till 3.
Those are the logistics, but if you're a Tech Talk fan, don't worry. We'll still have it, but you got to just catch it early. 8 till 10 here on CFAX 1070 this Saturday. It's just a one-off thing only for the World Cup. We wouldn't do it to you otherwise, and then we'll be back to normal after that. Yeah. Great. Okay.
And I'll create a special page of show notes that will be up there on Friday night, so tomorrow night, tech-talk.ca, and it'll include a web link. If you want to listen on your computer, it'll include 2 different web links so you can listen to the Garden Show instead of us, because I don't want people to be angry that we're preempting them for this special occasion only. And then can somebody save me a seat for the World Cup so we can go down and watch the game afterwards? We come to you from our studios where you are in Esquimalt, so got to check with Kyle and see whether we want to go out to Langford or to downtown Victoria to Market Square, which is the public viewing party. We rode in Langford for the game that put us into this match at Langford Station. That was an awesome crowd.
Oh, man, it's so cool to see these things in a crowd, by the way. I mean, it's great to watch them at home, but there's something about the energy of being in a group of people just hanging on a moment, on a kick, on a whatever. It's really cool. Yeah. Good luck with the soccer watching.
Thanks.
Okay, I got you here. We're talking. Those are the logistics for Tech Talk, but can we talk a bit of tech news with you while I got you here?
Absolutely, always.
And I got a question. Actually, this is a personal question. I'll start with this, which some listeners, who knows, maybe will be facing the same situation. Maybe you got some travel coming up this summer. I do, and I've never done this before, but this is the first year I was thinking with my smartphone while I'm abroad. What about an eSIM? So that's where you can get an electronic SIM card, a different SIM card that'll work in whatever part of the world you're going to.
That would give you a second phone number.
Yeah.
But there are some downsides of that. So first of all, if I may, where are you going and for how long?
It's going to be Europe for a couple of weeks.
Specifically?
I got France and got Italy and Switzerland on the docket.
Okay, the reason specifically is because England's not part of EU,
yes,
and that
of course.
can cause some wrinkles there. Because you work at CFAX, I'm presuming you're on the Bell network?
I do have a Bell cell phone. Yep.
Yes, so Bell has a Europe Roam Better plan, they call it. For $75, they will just let you use your phone in Europe for 14 days or 30 days for $90. Then everything will work just like here.
Oh, okay. But
so
you pay this one-time fee.
Out of your pocket.
You pay this one-time fee and they just let you do it. Okay. Interesting.
And they have similar ones for the Caribbean and Mexico, for Asia, and for international. Now, they make millions and millions of dollars off these roaming passes. So another option, if you weren't already on Bell, I would say switch to Freedom Mobile, and then it's no extra cost to use your phone when you go traveling. So for other people that aren't wedded to their carrier because it's your employer, the way it is for us, then yes, you could switch to Freedom, and then their plan called Roam Beyond works in 120 countries, no extra cost. But if you do want to get a SIM card or an eSIM, then the company that we would recommend is called Airalo, AIRALO. It's an app, and then you get the country and the duration. The downside is you're not going to get any calls from Canada.
Yeah, your existing phone number, is kind of knocked off, and you get this different temporary one, right?
Yeah, you're in control of that, but you basically have to put it on hold, because otherwise you'd be paying $16 a day to connect via Canada. So when you put your Canadian number on hold, that means you can't get any texts, and most importantly, you can't get messages from your bank says, hey, looks like you're not in Canada. Is that still you? Here's a code so you can access your bank account, and things like that. So all your friends and loved ones need to know that they have to get a hold of you by another method. They can't phone you or text you the traditional way. So I'd recommend, as much as we don't want to spend the money, in your case, spend the $75, stay connected. But if not, then if you're going to be doing multiple trips, Canada, U.S., Mexico is included on all plans from Freedom, and then Roam Beyond provides the coverage for 120 countries, and you can get varying amounts of data, but you don't pay extra.
Huh. You see, that's why I asked Alan Perry, host of Tech Talk. I didn't know any of that. That was enlightening.
Now, that is all in our travel tips. So if you go to tech-talk.ca and click on Travel Tech Tips, that is item number 9D, to be specific. And these are all things that people have taught us. And so I'm just the collection agency. Well, that doesn't sound right. But I put them all into the show notes there in a special page for anybody going traveling.
Alan Perry, host of Tech Talk, a special time this Saturday only, 8 to 10 in the morning. Back to normal after that. Thanks for talking to us today, Alan. Good luck with the show.
Great to talk with you. And so it goes.
Well, that's it for us today. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Thanks to Morgana Adby for producing today's show. We'll talk tomorrow.